Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon. And welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, and all that good stuff. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including I got to give you my review of Benson Boone American Heart Tour. We got to talk about the VMAs that happened last night. We got to talk about all the mayhem that happened with Lady Gaga at the VMAs and then making her way to MSG. You know I work there, so I'm gonna give y'all all the tea now that it's over, so I can spill all what I need to spill. We got to talk about the Conjuring Last Rites, basically becoming the biggest horror movie opening, I believe, ever. Like I think it beat Stephen King's It. So we'll get into that. Lizzo was calling out the music industry and saying algorithms have left the industry in shambles. Britney Spears out here being a hot ass mess, but it's a Monday, so how's that different than any other day? So I get into that because they tomorrow she got a mansion covered in dog poop. She out here still doing them stupid little twirling and the Gerber baby panties and all the other mess. So we'll get into that. Edebiri is basically going in on it. Well, she didn't really go in, but we'll break it down. There was a thing that happened over at the Venice Film Festival. She was promoting her movie with Andrew Garfield and Julia Roberts, and she asked the white people about the Black Lives Matter movement, and the black girl sitting right there. So we got that clip, and we'll talk about it. We got to talk about, speaking of white folks being disrespectful to black folks, we got to talk about this Paula Deen documentary that I don't know if it's out or it's coming out, but it's been making the rounds. The reviews have been coming in about it. She's been doing the interviews and all other stuff, so we're getting into that. Now, speaking of documentaries, we got to get into Charlie Sheen talking about all of his stuff, his HIV status, having sex with members of the same gender, and a whole lot more. So we're getting into that. Speaking of same gender stuff, Young Thug out here saying dumbness when he talking about he don't trust homosexuals who aren't open up about their sexuality. We got to talk about this RuPaul's Drag Race feature film that they have coming out in 2026. I have some news on that, and especially the character that RuPaul is going to play in the film. And it looks like Cabaret is closing a bit early because Billy Porter had to step away because he caught a case of the sepsis. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. At the end of the show, I will be putting in timestamps for those who want to come in after the live stream. If you want to go in, you want to say some stuff, you want to key, do whatever the case is, and you don't want to sit through all of that we do during the live stream, you can pretty much go into the description, click on the timer of whatever topic tickles your fancy, and go in and let have. And watch what you need to, unless you want to wait for me to cut it up and put the clips and stuff online and all the other good stuff. But yeah, I will be putting timestamps in because I know it definitely helps when we do these long shows. Please and thank you. So now let me hit my banner. I see we already have people coming in. Usually when I do this long intro, I always try to give it the situation enough time for everybody to get in the room and do what they need to do. Another thing that I like about StreamYard to be adding some really interesting stuff. They just added notes up in here. So now whenever it comes down to things, I can actually refer to my notes and go in and let have on whatever topics is up in here, up in here. So without further ado, I already hit my banner. Let's get into topic number one, and let's talk about this Benson Boone American Heart Tour. Now, when I worked that show, and that was literally before the Gaga show, so that was Friday, I believe. I'll get into the tape McRae so when we get around to, because hers was the day before. She did two shows. I'm gonna let y'all know some things the people were saying with that, but I'm gonna wait till the next one when we do the VMAs stuff because all that can kind of go intertwined. But nevertheless, Benson Boone. In a way, I was like, why didn't they have him perform at the VMAs? But he's on tour, so he had time. But I didn't overwhelm myself. I didn't know what to expect from a Benson Boone concert because I'm like, okay, he's relatively new. I feel like he came on the scene about 4 years ago, and it's funny how like 4 years, it's been, it's taken him 4 years to get to where he is today, and already you're selling a Madison Square Garden, and you're able to do arena shows. So I was like, I don't know if he got that many songs, and I don't know if I mean he had an opening act, and the opening act I don't remember the guy's name, but he was actually good. It was giving kind of that old retro Elvis. Nat King Cole type of vibe. So, and we already know like Benson's style is very retro. And so when I first walked into the arena to kind of look at, I always, one of the things about me that I love about when I work at the garden. I love the calm before the storm, and this has always been my situation whenever I do live shows. It's like when nobody's in the arena, we're all setting up and getting ready. I'm scoping out, whichever section I'm in and making sure everything is copacetic before we open doors and we start, you know, um, serving the public. So when I went in, I was like, okay, I'm living for the stage. First of all, no shade, but the stage did look like a pair of dick and balls, the way the whole setup was. And they had like two it was general admissions on the floor. So there was like no seats and everything, which I actually like when it's like that. So it was like just one big catwalk, and then it had like the thing at the end, and then it had like a little pit up at the top. So it was like two different little sections where people could stand and be by the side of the stage where the catwalk was and around the whole thing. And then there was some people who had pit access, which was relatively cool. So I was like, oh, this looks like a pretty good set. I liked it. It had a little retro, like I said, like a 70s retro vibe. And so then the opening act did this thing. And then when Benson came out, that boy definitely puts on a show. He's got a lot of showmanship, very energetic, but yeah, he's like what, 22, 23. So what were you expecting that he was gonna bring in regards to that? So of course he was gonna bring it in regards of like the performance aspect, the showmanship, the flipping off of things. And there was at one point that I was like, okay, this is giving a little Liberace behind the candelabra tease. Like how some people come sailing out and stuff. Yeah, Katy Perry on the butterfly, whatever. He came out like going through the arena, hanging from. I wouldn't say hanging. Let's go see. Let's go a little see it with it. He was swinging from a chandelier, so he was on top of the chandelier. He was singing. I don't remember what song it was, but yeah. And then at one point when it lowers it down to where the piano is, then he unhooks himself and kind of jumps. He jumps down. I just be worrying like when him doing all these flips and jumps and all this other stuff. I understand you're young and maybe your frontal. Excuse me. Because I don't think his frontal lobe is fully developed yet. But I really feel like I'm hoping that the people that are part of the crew are definitely taking safety precautions when it comes to some of the stuff he does, because he's jumping around and he's got a lot of energy. And I understand you're young, but you don't want to do something where you put your body and parts in harm's way. And I was saying this also. I was like, it's just cute now, but can you imagine like when Benson is like 40 or 50 and y'all still expecting him to be doing like backhand springs and flips and all that other gymnastic stuff? So, and I actually like the wardrobe he had on. Like, the boy was definitely showing body. He was shirtless during the first part. Then when he goes into like this black tux look, which I actually kind of like, and he had a cute ass too, because I was looking at it the whole night. Well, whenever I could, but um, with the outfits and stuff that he had on, it was like I like the black ensemble and stuff as well. So I liked a lot of his look. So one of the things I will say, because I've always been wondering, like when it comes to a lot of the younger acts that are coming out, I'm like, I don't know if this new generation is really giving me what I need in regards to like performance, showmanship, if you have that X factor. But I feel like with him, he definitely has that X factor. There was a lot of little kids there. So a lot of little girls like them some Benson, and then it was like one point when he was doing one of his songs, he acknowledged the fact that his demographic skewers younger. So he was like when he was doing like this long-winded speech that he was giving before he went into the next song. He was just talking about Tony and how you have ever had a crush, because he asked if you ever been in love, and it was a lot of little kids. He's like, okay, I understand like a lot of y'all in here are a little young, but so we had to flip it over and make it like, have you ever had a crush? And because everybody's had that, but as far as like in love, ain't no 8-year-old know what no damn love is. You can't tell me at 12, you can't tell me at 15, you damn sure can't tell me at 18 that you know anything about love, which I always found relatively weird when they would have like these young, like whenever the industry and pop stars always had young kids singing songs about love. And I'm like, the hell do they know about love? You don't know about love and heartbreak? I know 14, get out of here. That's like kids' table mess. Now you don't really know love and heartbreak and stuff until you about in your 20s. You're a little older, got a little, once you get all that Similac off your breath and you have a little mileage under your, situation, then I feel like you can actually speak about love, which is why I don't understand why they always want to skewer young when it comes to talent. There's a lot of older people that I would rather listen to than, I mean, when I was young, I ain't know no damn better. But now when you get older, you kind of see it different. So it is a relatively good show. I do recommend people go and check it out. I don't know how much the ticket prices are, but I got to see it for free because I worked it. But yeah, he definitely surprised me when I watched the show. So I was like, with all the little things I was like excited, I'm like, it's coming across a little performative. It doesn't feel like he's kind of being his authentic self. And maybe you still don't get that when it comes from the music or whatever the case is. But when he gets on stage, Benson definitely, there's something that comes out of him that this light that just comes upon him, and he really gives a good show. So I definitely seen it in the performances, but I just need the music and the writing and everything. I need a little more fat, a little more meat on the bone when it comes to that. And I feel like as he gets older, he'll I think he'll mature more and have a lot more experience under him, where he could really have some good authentic songs that matches the showmanship. So it's definitely there. He's a work in progress, and I know he's still relatively fresh to the industry, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you seen the American Heart tour? What did you think of it and all that good stuff? Good, bad, or indifferent? I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right. Onyx is in the building. Felix is here. Damon says, "Oh, I did hear about the family drama. You want to know something? Um, I have to look further into it. When it comes down to it, the Shea Kool-Aid stuff, because I was hearing stuff, and some of the things I was hearing people reporting on it, I was still I'm like confused. So I need to do a deeper dive and understand what's going on. And Shay, girl, why your whole house is like over you?" Cleveland's in the building. Yeah. I've been going back. It's been going back and forth, and I think it's because it's the change in weather. It's like it's hot one minute. It's then it's like the temperature drops to like damn near 50 degrees. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yesterday I did have a what do you call it? I do be bringing my hoodie with me and stuff. But yeah, I think it's still a way. There's some days where I'm like, it's gone, and then there's moments where I'm like, oh no, it's still there. Exactly. Come on, Tina. It's a heartbreak at 14. I experienced heartbreak at 30 because I was just hunching off. I mean, quiet as a skip. Who was it? Me too. It's like that. And I feel like that's how I just be getting sick. And as you get older, you start to definitely feel it more. I got the fan on because it's hot in here when you doing a show and and all the lights and everything on. I was like, oh no, I need some air up on me. Mm-mm. She's like, Cleveland. It was just like it was like that in Colorado too. One day it was okay, and that's what be annoying me with this. Um, you're ordering me a shirt. Well, to be on the safe side, I always do an XL. I mean, some people be criticizing me because I be wearing because I like to wear my shirts tight, but I'm like shit. If I work out at the gym, you want to show it off. But to be on the safe side, I'll say XL. Anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show. Oh, wait, hold on now. See, it's like all these new buttons up in here. Now I'm trying to remember where everything is. Wait, what did I just do? Ooh, child the ghetto. All right, y'all. So now let's wait. Was that the next topic that I was supposed to do? I guess it is. I did put it in my banners. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the next topic, which is the VMAs. So I don't know if y'all saw the VMAs last night, but the VMAs was relatively interesting to say the least. Um, Congratulations to Lady Gaga, who was the top winner at the MTV VMAs. She won 4 honors in a show telecast of New York's UBS Arena Sunday night. And Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter also got Moon Men. They each won 3. And if y'all notice, Ariana, or Ari, we'll call her, because we love Miss Ari. Although there was some things about her that we're gonna talk about it later on the show. Sidebar: since when did Laura Roche start doing styling her, or has that always been the case and I just ain't been paying attention? Because we've been spending more time with like knowing him with being with Celine Dion and Zendaya. Because I was like, when did he start styling her? But anyway, so yeah, so Gaga showed up yesterday. There was like yesterday, when I got to work, because my call time was like 6:15. So we already knew like Gaga wasn't showing up until about 9:30. And one of my coworkers, Margot was silly. She was like, are they gonna actually, because we're gonna be waiting for Gaga to show up to do the final night of the Mayhem Ball, are they gonna actually put on the VMAs? And they were like, no. But the funny one enough, I was on the 8th floor. So in my section, these lesbians, they was messing with the TV, because on the 8th floor in the garden, we actually have TVs. On the 6th floor, you don't really need it because you can get like a closer view to what's going on, whether it's a baseball game, the Rangers concerts, whatever the case. I mean, we don't do live feeds and stuff with the concerts, but for the most part, with the sports stuff, you can pretty much, you're close enough when you can see everything. And if you're on the floor. But on the 8th floor, you can kind of see it too. But some people want to have that experience of they'll put on the actual game that they're watching live, or they'll put on other games. So they'll probably put on a Mets game. They'll probably put on well, no, not a Rangers game. Well, yeah, the Rangers. They'll put on any kind of sports or whatever on the TV, and they'll have a multitude of things going on. So apparently they had found CBS on the thing, because I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, because we play sports and stuff. They would have the channel, and I totally forgot that it was going to be on CBS, because I'm so used to MTV being the one that's showing the VMAs. So they put the VMAs on, and we started, and I was sitting there watching it as I'm, making sure everybody needs to be going where they're going. I had one eye on the screen every now and again. I would glance over, but I did watch the full show today, so I can give y'all all the ins and outs of, or a recap, I guess, in that way. So yeah, the word was that Gaga was going to be going to the VMAs, and of course, she got the first award of the night, so that way she could stay. They told her she was going to stay there probably about 8:25, between 8:25 and 8:35. Then she was going to be coming from the UBS Arena over to the Garden. And I know some people was like, first of all, I don't know if y'all know this, but UBS Arena is actually in Nassau County, so that's Long Island. So some people are like, how the hell is she going to get from Long Island to Midtown Manhattan in like an hour? Unless she take the Long Island Railroad. But I don't know if I could see Gaga and her whole crew on the LIRR dealing with regular folks and trying to act like, oh, I like my privacy and I don't want to be around so many people. No, that's not working. So the word on the street was that she was going to be helicoptered to Midtown Manhattan. Now people are going to be like, well, where's there places that you can land a helicopter? Well, I don't know if y'all know this, but on 34th Street, either on, I believe, 1st or 2nd Avenue, and there's one on 12th Avenue, there are helipads where you can fly in and fly out, helicopters and other stuff. So it's not that hard for her to get from there. I don't know where in Nassau County they have a helicopter you could pick somebody up, but if it's Long Island, we definitely have enough of the land and the space and excuse me, and places where you can pretty much be helicoptered in and out. So I'm sure they had all that worked out. But yeah, but so they have a helipad over on 34th Street and 12th. The Garden is on 8th. Of course, they would have to drive up, and then you have to get her in that parking thing. So they would have to, where the garage and stuff is. And then it was funny when she was in the outfit and she was walking up there. I was like, I know what that said. That's back of house, which we were advised throughout many of the shows that don't pull your phones out, don't do other stuff. But I was seeing her own crew backstage with the phone. So why are we being chastised? But she not chastising her own damn people unless she didn't know that the crew that was working on the show had their phones out in back of house. Yeah, I'm snitching on them. But anyway, so yeah, so that was the whole situation. We knew that they was gonna be there. When they had the screens and stuff on, her fans was like, how's she over there? I'm like, yeah, we knew about it. We're just gonna tell y'all. So that was basically that on that whole situation. So yeah, she got her moon man and everything. And then when she got to the garden, which was about 9:45, I think is when the show actually started and didn't end till like a quarter after 12. I got that good overtime, so I'm not that upset. Even though I did get home like damn near I think about 2:30 in the morning, but that overtime was lovely. So thank you, girl, for going on late. Because the longer your ass stay and the longer your people stay, the more I get paid. So don't be throwing with no shade. I just want to get paid. So that's basically that what happened on that. So I just want to give you a little inside tea in regards to what that was. So yeah, the show started late. And I know some people were speculating she was going to keep stopping the show and all this stuff. No, she didn't stop it. It was just like a full run through of the show. And then during Perfect Celebrity, she did have a couple of the Moon Men. Well, I think all of the Moon Men. She had them in. Oh wait, I think it was three. But then she won the fourth one. I think she didn't get that one yet. Me personally, I'm like, I would have just gave her all of them. Gave her the heads up. Okay, you won. These are all the ones you won. Take them with you. And I think that is what happened. So because I could have sworn I only saw three Moon Men, and they had two dancers after she was done with Purpose Celebrity because it goes into Disease, which I'm sure y'all seen that performance at the Coachella situation, or Gaga-chella, if you want to call it that. So then after Purpose Celebrity was done, their dancers had to come from the back, like grab the Moon Men and take them because, like I said, during Purpose Celebrity, she sings to the Moon Men, which of course the audience ate it up. And I'm sitting there saying, too, why would she do UBS and then go to MSG? And I feel like she did that because she knew it would go viral. She knew it would get everybody talking that, oh, I have a show the same night. So if I'm being nominated for all these awards, the least I could do is I'm going to show up in the beginning. I'm going to give my long winded ass speech, which she did do, and keep it moving from there. So with all of that happening, yeah, Grande won for Video of the Year for Brighter Days Ahead. She also had a big look on the telecast because of presenting the Video Vanguard Award to Mariah Carey. And so, speaking of all of that, let me get to my overall thoughts. So, um, so the show was all right. Doja, I believe, was the opening performance. The 80s thing, I'm still not 110% on board with a lot of what Doja is presenting with this. It was a good performance. I love the little keytar, Mars Day and the Time meets Prince, meets Janet Jackson type of situation she had going on. I'm still not 110% sold on the whole 80s inspired situation. It feels a little like you're doing cosplay because 80s was probably before her time. She didn't get to go through it. I mean, I'm a child of the 80s and the 90s. I was a little infant when the 80s and stuff was going on. But when you're a child of the 90s, there was still those 80s references that was going into the 90s. And with MTV and so many other things going on at that time, I could look back and I still am aware of that era. So it's embedded in my brain. Whereas with Doja, it's giving a little cosplay with the whole situation. So I'm not 110% sold on what she's doing. Now, Ricky Martin getting up there and doing his, what was it, the Latin Icon Award or whatever that he got? It don't matter. First of all, Ricky is fine as hell, serving all that body, looking youthful. I was like, hold on, don't I have a picture of Mr. Ricky Martin and do? So yeah, Ricky was up there looking like a whole snack. I was like, that man is 53 years old. And I'm like, This is why I be saying, you Puerto Ricans, shout out to y'all, but y'all be on some kind of sorcery between him and Jennifer Lopez. And it's not just them. It just be growing up in New York. With a lot of my cousins and a lot of the Puerto Ricans and the Latinos that I grew up around, a lot of them do be looking younger than they actually are. It ain't, the ones that don't be doing that hard living and on them drugs, the one that be taking care of themselves. It's like, yeah, the youthfulness be on their side. And so that's why I was like, I was living for when Ricky Martin got up there, all that energy he had going on. The vocals was at times, but it don't matter. You was still holding your own. You was giving energy. You was giving performance. You did a whole lot more than Mariah, and we're going to get into her in a minute. Now, speaking of that, now, after the whole Ricky Martin situation, then we had Tate McRae. Like I'm gonna just talk about all the ones that stood out to me. All of them, there was a couple of them up there. I was like, okay, I don't know who you are. I don't care. Your music is trash. I'm bored. Next. So then we got to get into Miss McRae because Tate McRae was up there trying to have her Britney "I'm a slave for you" moment, and girl, it never came. So I don't know what you was trying to do up there, but and I don't think Frankie Grande knew what the hell you was doing either, because the word on the curb was Frankie was giving faces and all the other stuff up there, which had people going on social media um critiquing how his face was looking. So yeah, some of the fans, because I had some of the tweets of what some people were saying. Some people saying why he was so disgusted when they were showing his face. Maybe it's because he's a homosexual, so He got rest in bitch face. Some of us can't help the fact that, we just be so in our head and everything that the face be like, maybe it gives 24-hour shade, even though that's not what he thinking. So one person said, this makes him seem like a hater, not going to lie. Another person said, you know how bad you have to be for Frankie Grande to not gag about a pop girl. Well, girl, just because you're a girl and you do pop, don't necessarily mean that everything y'all do is going to eat the house down boots. That's what I think a lot of y'all need to realize, that y'all think y'all be serving a lot, but a lot of times it's like, that's another one. Tate, I'm not 110% sold on her. And based on some of the conversations that I was having and overhearing from security on down to guest service people, because we gossip. And a lot of the people saying that Tate McRae show at the Garden, them 2 nights, was a mess. That one, she was up there with stripper poles and doing all kinds of sexually suggestive dance moves. And you had the mothers up in there with they said there was the mothers were dressed inappropriate. The daughters was half naked. Mothers walking around with no bra on, titties all out, up in there dancing, looking like they were trying to fiend for some dick up in there. Probably looking for their next, their next back dug out or dig out, whatever you want to call it. And my thing is, it's like, when you look at a Tate McRae, I feel like will pull the same type of demographic that a Benson Boone would do. Whereas Benson Boone was giving you more showmanship. He wasn't giving inappropriateness with his performance. He was giving like good old fashioned, I'm up there, I'm moving around, I'm flipping, I'm singing live and doing other stuff. Tate, I don't think, and others, I think like Britney, sounds don't come out of her mouth. I think she be miming that whole damn show, kind of like she did at the VMAs. But I think they don't mind you up in there lip syncing. They want all that perfection and everything when you're doing those type of shows. But yeah, the census was that people were saying that show was a hot mess. It was inappropriate. The music wasn't giving. But that's kind of like with Tate. Tate is a pretty white girl who dances, but the music is not on the same level as the girl that she's being compared to, which would be Britney Spears. So she need her Max Martin in her life. Quiet as it's kept. But yeah, those were some of the things that people say. And then some other people say he saw a take come from Ariana's crown. Now goddamn well when Tate and Ariana is not even gonna be ever in the same goddamn sentence. So um I don't know what y'all thought. You thought with that comment. Another person said, "You know how bad you have to be for Frankie." Oh yeah, I read that one. Maybe he gave her the Rihanna look. I don't know. Another person said, "Seems weird, but I think he's disgusted because she's good." I mean, don't get me wrong. She dances. She could go off with the dancing and all other stuff. But as far as like everything else, I don't feel like she has the full package yet. The songs need to kind of live up to the choreography. Like you could serve and you could throw your hair around and do all kinds of weird poses and attempt to switch with the ass you don't have. But if you're not giving, then we're not going to sit up here and fully go with the whole situation. But okay, so then after that, what else happened? Rose, let's get into her. Girl, I know, we love pata, but ma'am, you got to know when to shut the fuck up and get off the goddamn stage. I don't know why she went on for like a 20-minute speech talking about her inner self, her all that. It's like, okay, here's the thing: get up on the stage, thank your fans, thank Bruno Mars, thank people from your team, and keep it moving. I don't want your whole life story. You don't need to sell us your biopic when you're up on stage, except that a Moon Man, which quiet as it's kept, ain't worth the price of tea in damn China. So I don't know why everybody getting all bent out of shape with a fucking Moon Man. Moon Man ain't had that same type of credibility in like since 2012. So everybody been here getting all excited over a Moon Man. I'm like, first of all, if Moon Man was so damn worth of anything, why are we presenting a show where they're trying to Grammyfy it on CBS? VMA is supposed to be about video, music, and music videos. MTV ain't played a music video in over a decade. So I don't understand like what they were trying to do with it. And was it me? Or but I don't think we saw many people get up there and accept awards and hear nominees. It was more performances than anything. You thought that we wasn't going to see that. But it's funny how like when I looked at when I went on all the trades and stuff, and they were talking about all the winners, like video of the year being Ariana Grande, best pop artist being Sabrina Carpenter, best hip hop being Doechii for Anxiety, best rock Coldplay All My Love, best Latin Shakira for Soltera, best long form video Ariana Grande, Brighter Days Ahead, video for Good, Charlie XCX Guest with Billie Eilish, best direction Lady Gaga Abracadabra, best art direction Lady Gaga Abracadabra, best cinematography Kendrick Lamar Not Like Us, and so on and so. Oh, and they had best choreography went to Doechii. First of all, how she beat FKA Twigs for You Sexual, Not Like Us. Okay, I can see you beating that. Abracadabra, that definitely the choreography was memorable and sickening. Y'all just need to find the nearest ditch and throw Tyler Boney ass in it. I don't know how any of y'all see it for her. And Zara Larson, one of the most underrated pop girls out right now. She eats. And I did love that video, Pretty Ugly, because she was out there in the mud. So I was living for that one. But Tyler, throw that old colored child away. Look, she consider herself colored. That's why I said it. So if anybody want to come in here with the races, whatever, y'all can suck my dick from the back because that's not where it was coming from. I'm going by what she called herself. She says, I ain't black, I'm colored. I'm colored. That's what the bitch said. So that's what we going with. So with that being said, so you got all these nominations, I mean, all these wins that I just told y'all. Did y'all even know that a lot of those people won because they didn't even show it? So, how would y'all even know? Now, let's get back into the rest of the okay. Then we got Busta Rhymes, who came out and did his thing. Busta Rhymes always gives a good performance. I don't know where he found that old nasty Magilla gorilla looking troll, Papoose. Papoose look dirty as hell. You want to know something? Remy, you did yourself a big one by getting rid of him because he looked a mess. But and then Glorilla. Oh, we're gonna get into her in a minute because I don't know what the hell that lady was saying when she was introducing J Balvin. Um, what is reggaeton? I don't know what that is. I know reggaeton, but I don't know no reggaeton. And there was a whole bunch of stuff she was saying up in there. I'm like, girl, when did you learn English last night? Now, speaking of learning English last night, can we talk about Lotto and that other girl? Who was the other girl? Isis? I think it's her name. Miss Spice? Look at a mess. Now, I'm gonna say this. Ice Spice actually did look good. I'm not going hold on that one. She did look good last night for once. So maybe she finally got enough coins that she was scraped together from that fart song and was able to afford herself a good damn stylist because the wig was right, the outfit was cute, so she was it was giving. Nobody cares about that damn song. That song you had with Lotto was a mess. It's a chop. I don't care. We can move on from it. Um, the whole little back in the I don't know what the hell he was trying to do up there, but it wasn't giving. And y'all were trying to force that chemistry. Nobody's buying it, just like nobody's buying that single. So, A for effort. Now, let's get into Miss Sabrina as a Miss Carpenter. Her coming out of the sewer like she was a damn Ninja Turtle. Now, that was cute. And then I did love the fact of seeing, drag race girls like Simone Willem, who has, by the way, speaking of Willem, she has a show coming out called Darkroom Duel. I think it's coming out next week on Out TV. It's a stripper show. I think also Raheem Shabazz is one of the judges. I think that was the one with it. I need more information on it, but I remember, I don't know, I was hearing conflicting reports of something that maybe he's not a part of it, but unless I read the whole log line and whatever's going on with that and the promotion start, then I'll be able to tell you if he actually is in the show because I haven't seen any promos and stuff except for the picture that Willem put on I saw it on one of the drag sites or whatever on Twitter. But anyway, so I did like seeing Simone. Yeah, I did like seeing Willem, Lexi Love, Laganja, and Denali. Denali, you starting to look a little like a man. Like you pretty, but you was giving man in the outfit. Like you getting a little too muscular. I didn't know if that was Denali or if that was Tatiana, but Tatiana always gonna give you fish. She gonna give you puss. So she's not gonna go and muscularize her situation. She gonna give you full on woman in her drag. So, and Deshaun Wesley, it was good seeing him and Miss Henny Balenciaga, who always be out here dancing for the House of Balenciaga. But also, y'all know her from dancing on the Cowboy Carter tour and the Renaissance tour. So it's cute seeing her up there doing her thing. And the setup was giving me Drag the Musical. I don't know if y'all seen that musical, the Willem musical that he put out that closed a couple of months ago. It was a good show, but the background was giving that. But I will say this, there was more tea that was going on where this is gonna be a long one because there's a lot to break down with this whole VMAs. Um, there was some people debating the whole performance of Sabrina Carpenter, saying that it came across as performative with her and the whole drag situation. Like a lot of people wasn't buying what she was selling, and I was sitting there like, do y'all think that she was out here not being authentic and was using the gays? Like I get it, like when she did the music video and she had Coleman Domingo and the drag queens up there, and it was serving what was it? Oh, it was giving like Rocky Horror Picture Show tease. Like when she was giving all of that, I was like, I was here for it. The performance though, it's cute enough. So I'm not gonna hold on that. She definitely gave a cute little performance, and I did like the little jokey dance break, and then she goes and starts doing the dance break, and it starts raining and everything. Like now, speaking of Britney Spears, that was her. That she gave the Britney Spears moment. Tate McRae thought she was giving the Britney Spears moment, but Sabrina gave the real Britney Spears moment with the rain, the dance break, and all that other stuff. But anyway, so here's what the people were saying. So oh, they had Richie Shazam up there too. I forgot to mention him too. But yeah, but then they had people up there with signs that said, "In trans we trust, dolls, 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 support drag, protect trans rights, and if you hate, you'll never get laid." That's true, because a lot of y'all out here just be, pissed off at life. So yeah, there was some people that said, dolls, dolls, dolls. Unsurprisingly, trans identifying males are the focus over the females. And in classic Sabrina Carpenter fashion, womanhood is turned into a plastic, hyper feminine, hypersexualized product designed to cater to and be sold to men. Another person said there's kind of a weird fetishizing aspect to a lot of the protect the doll stuff, but I am all right not caring about that until there's a lot less exterminate the doll stuff going on. Another person said they turn concerts into campaign rallies, then wonder why people stop watching. That one I had a problem with. And this one reason many Americans do not watch the VMAs. That's not one of the reasons. So you need to come a little better Americano, because that's what they have in their name. Another person said right now, right after trans right after a trans person shot up a school in Minnesota. This feels incentive to be honest, maybe I'm wrong. Um well, I don't, this is why I can't with corporate media, because I feel like y'all just be out here with the misinformation. Somebody that was a trans person that shot up a school. First of all, that person that was running around claiming that they was trans, I'm not buying it, because they were posting. I saw some of the magazines that they had where it had the F word on it, rhymes with maggot. They had anti-LGBTQIA slurs on the magazines. They were into like racist stuff, very very bigoted and MAGA coded, if you ask me. But because the person looked like Eric Stoltz in The Mask, now y'all want to sit up in here and talk about that the person is transgender, and that one trans person allegedly that y'all want to label, all of a sudden they want to come out now and talk about this mess. Oh, they want to keep trans people from buying guns. Because that's the problem. It's not the fact that we have cis white males are the main perpetrators when it comes to mass shootings. Since, as far as I can go back, Columbine. That's usually if I'm not mistaken, when all of this became national news and became a big thing, was Columbine. Since then, we've had a plethora of mass shootings that nobody's done anything about, including this current retarded ass president. So when we have all these other things going on, it's easy to go and blame this one person that y'all want to come around claiming that's trans. We don't claim that mother flower, because one thing is, how you going out here saying that you transgender, but you hate your own goddamn community? Like, shut up with all of that. But that's what they want to sell you, because it's the fear mongering, it's the trans people, it's the immigrants. They taking your jobs, they're taking everything from you. When it's the 1%, it's the oligarchs, it's the companies, the corporations. They're the ones who are robbing y'all. But no, blame the trans people, blame immigrants. They taking your jobs. Quiet as it's kept. And I know people don't like it, but the truth hurts. I want to see some of you same bitches out here that's complaining about these jobs that they're taking away from you. I want y'all to go make $3 on the hour picking fruits and vegetables from them damn fields. I want to see you working 12 to 16-hour days in a restaurant with no kind of union to protect you. I want to see y'all go and do those jobs and see how long your ass lasts. So y'all sitting up out here complaining about stuff. I don't see none of y'all pushing to go get these type of jobs. And recently it came out of the jobs with the jobs report that the jobs is worse. Like no job is being created. Unemployment is skyrocketing, particularly amongst and within the Black community. Like all this stuff is going, but yeah, of course, I'm not going to hear that because legacy media is not going to tell y'all the tea. They cut to whoever is, the person currently running the White House. Just like that same fool decided to show up at the damn U.S. Open yesterday, and people getting, they were talking, oh, it was a clusterfuck and it was chaos. I'm like, what did y'all expect? I've worked 2 events where I've had to deal with Donald Trump coming there, and it was a shit show. Both times was at the Garden. The first time it was his stupid little what was it, that rally thing where he had Tony Hinchcliffe doing comedy. Now, speaking of which, now that same one, and I'm glad that just came up. That same one that was up in here talking about in this post. Um, where is it? Turning concerts into campaign rallies. Isn't that what Trump did before he became president? He turned a rally into a concert. You had people up in there telling jokes. You had people up in there performing. You had a whole UFC type thing going on and a WWE type of situation. Like it was a whole dog and pony show. So it's okay, Daily Mail, because this is where I got this story from. For you, your people to do stuff when it benefits you. But then, of course, y'all look for the most ignorant of ignorant comments to put in y'all situation. Get off my line with the bullshit. So yeah, so this is what a lot of people were saying. Me, I'm like, as long as you can give any kind of exposure, and if you show that you're a true ally to the LGBT community, especially when we have the Trump administration eroding LGBTQIA plus rights on the daily, going after the trans community. And I wouldn't be surprised if the gays ain't too far behind. You already see now next they started going after, like ICE started swooping in and messing with the Koreans. Oh, y'all Asian people, you thought you were safe? I told you he's going after everybody that isn't white and rich. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's coming. And so when people want to sit up here and try to throw in politics and stuff with the entertainment and all that stuff, at least know what the hell you're talking about before y'all get up on the line and start spewing a bunch of BS. Know what the hell you're talking about. So I hope it's not performative on Sabrina's part. We need as much exposure as we can get. We need true allies within the community, and I hope we get that authentically. But I think real people can tell if it's performative. Speaking of performative, there's some people saying that Ariana Grande came across as performative during a lot of situations. What was that accent she's doing? I don't even know what her real voice sounds like anymore because it just be feeling like she's putting on a performance every time she opened her mouth. I guess she's still pretending she Glinda because we got the other movie coming out late in 2 months, 2.5 months, November. Well, I'll just say 2 months because it'd be in the middle of November, whatever. And we're like already 8 days into September. And then, so they were saying that she was being performative during the Ozzy Osbourne tribute, which I actually liked. The Ozzy Osbourne tribute was cute. I was here for it. Seeing Aerosmith up there and what the hell's his name? Young Child. Let me tell you something. Youngblood, that boy can sit on my damn face. He is so damn sexy to me. So I was living for Youngblood when he was up there. Also, okay. So now here's the thing that we got to get into. Um, where is she? Because I was like, where's that next that video, whatever. Okay, we gotta talk about C3PO. Now I don't know if y'all know who I'm referring to as C3PO, but I'll give you a hint. She won a Video Vanguard Award by doing giving the bare damn minimum during her performance. Yes, I'm talking about Mariah Carey, because she was serving C3POTs when she got up there waddling. I don't know what the hell. Like, I think maybe it's on her contract. She only walks a couple of feet before she gotta stand there. She gave nothing during her performance. And I'm like, and some people are like, oh, leave her alone because she's given us 30. No, I'm sorry. You don't get to say, I put in work for 30 years, but now I'm going to just not do shit. Because as long as you are out here performing, giving people a show, wanting people to buy your music, wanting people to support you, you don't get to stand up there like a stiff, damn stuffed mannequin and give me nothing as a performer. At least walk around the stage a bit. And then don't even get me started with the slap of Bianca. What was that? It didn't make contact. It was like when you do a smack, it was like, what? I have seen far more convincing slaps on an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I'm talking about the early seasons when they kind of was recently doing that too. The fake slap scenes that they be doing and stuff, from the old shows like Dynasty and things of that nature, which is where I think RuPaul got that from, a lot of those type, and the telenovelas. Like, girl, you could have gave us a lot more. So the drag eleganza thing, it was just like, no, ma'am. Like I've seen stiffer drag queens get better performances, and drag queens that are old as hell. Shit, Lady Bunny probably moved better than her. And she always between her and Mary J. Blige, they're around the same damn age. Y'all both walk like your damn feet hurt and your knees is all fucked up and you need like knee surgery or something. So I live for Mariah, but girl, you giving me nothing when you perform. I'm tired of it. Like I would never pay to see her live, and I don't even. And these delusional ass lambs that sit up there and think, oh, it's cute. It's not. It's old and it's tired. So okay, and I feel like you gave more energy. No shade during your speech. Your thank you speech had more energy than you did as a performer. So thanks for nothing, I guess. So yeah, I was like, what else happened? Because that's why I said I had to take notes. Oh, we already talked about Ozzy. J Balvin was cute. I already went in on Miss Glorilla. I don't need to go in on her again with how she introduced him. I had to fast. I was like, girl, no. That whole introduction is a chop. And you can't even like how do you not even know how to say reggaeton? But anyway, so he got there, he performed with the whole him and the DJ Snake track, whatever. It's cute. It gave a typical whatever you would expect from a reggaeton performance, but it was good to see J Balvin up there and reggaeton being represented. So I lived. And Conan Gray, who I guess he was the closing performance, right? Vodka Cranberry, why do I feel like that song was only a minute long? That was the only issue I had with that song. But him up there giving Romeo and Julian tease with that performance, I was living for. I was like, yes, give me the homosexual live performance and all the other stuff. So I was living for it. I love Vodka Cranberry. That is a good damn song. He was up there singing, looking cute or whatever, in his little cape, his little Phantom of the Opera outfit. And so overall, I mean, L Cool J, we know how he is because he's hosted the Grammys like I think over a dozen times, maybe it might be less, but he's hosted the Grammys a lot. So he has what it takes to be a MC and a host, especially because you're a rapper. You have to be like a hype man and a host. But it would have been nice to see him do more. Oh wait, I forgot to mention Jelly Roll and Post Malone. Why Jelly Roll? Well, Jelly Roll, I'm gonna leave you alone. I don't know what's going on with Post Malone. Post Malone look like he ain't seen soap in months. Something was going on with him, and I'll be like, and I'm still wondering what y'all got in that cup that you be up in there drinking. Cause yeah, Post Malone looked a mess. He looked dirty as hell. Like it literally looked like he had a venereal disease. Oh, well, that's what it was getting. Oh, yeah. So overall, I'll say this: the VMAs was okay. It was nothing to brag home about. I don't think there were any like real standout moments. Now, if there was some moments that stood out for y'all, I definitely want to hear it. Drop it down in the comments. Um, Yeah, I just feel like it wasn't giving me like no performance last night gave me the same type of feeling that I got, with the iconic Britney, Madonna, and Xtina kiss. And looking at the look on Justin Timberlake's face when that went down because he and Britney just broke up and all that drama that was going on with that, or Madonna's iconic Vogue performance. Sidebar, I should say this. Shout out to the music album. It literally just turned 25 over the weekend. So shout out to that album. Jesus, I hate dropping these birth dates because I just be it's like more making me realize more, damn you old or getting old. Um or other what were some other iconic Britney's I'm a Slave for You with the snake and Beyonce revealing she was pregnant with, during Love on Top. Like it wasn't giving that. Or when Katy Perry accepted a moon man with a block of cheese on her head. Like those are the kind of iconic moments that we need at the VMAs. It wasn't giving none of that. It was just a lot of long-winded speeches, a lot of celebrities I ain't never heard of. Like I literally feel like I'm getting to the point where I don't know any people. And shout out to you, Felix. I did see that clip that you sent me. What was it? South Park? One of them things where they was making fun of the whole VMA situation of like us now, us not know who half these damn people are. And you're right, I didn't know who majority of them people was that was there. So I like that they mixed it with the old school heads like the Busters and the Mariah, even though she didn't give us much of anything with her stiff ass performance. But I did love seeing Mariah up there looking cute. I need a little more showmanship, niece, or I should say auntie, because she older than me. And it was good seeing Gaga and all other stuff up in here. And I'll give you guys the insight of like the whole final two nights of the Mayhem Ball after I finish this up. which would be right about now. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you watch the VMAs? What did you think of the VMAs? Did you think it was, the VMAs was memorable? It was good. You ate like they ate the house down boots. What did you think of the performances? What did you think of the people that was there? Did you think that Rose need to learn how to shut the hell up? Because that girl does know how to talk. I remember when I did the Blackpink concert this year. I'm like, damn, this girl likes to talk. She can though, but you talk too damn much. So it's like, let's get to the point. So I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story regarding the VMAs in the comments down below. Oh, child, I already know that whole situation is probably like 30 minutes long. Because of all the breaking down of the VMAs I had to do. And I see there's a lot of comments in here. So let me get to those. Felix says Ricky was one of the hot. Yes, he was, child. And then the thirst trapping he was doing, he could thirst trap on me all night. Cause that is a fine ass fucking man. I joined the pop based Discord server last night, and there was someone at the MSG. Hmm, how they gonna be over there giving y'all? Well, I couldn't say nothing, so I had to keep it quiet. Um, because somebody did ask me like when they looked at the TV or whatever that was on, he was like, "She's a." I said, "Uh huh." I said she's supposed to be leaving because I looked at my watch. She's supposed to be leaving around 8:30 to come back to the garden, and the garden showed and starts about almost 10 o'clock, like 9:40, 9:45, around that time. Mariah is the definition of girl, give us nothing. But I want to know what was the updates they was giving you and see if it matches what actually was going down. Gaga to Manhattan, get the job. And I know some people saying, well, why didn't they? Oh, wait, I'll save it for the other thing. I saw clips of Ariana with Gaga, Mariah, and others. I wonder if Gaga actually showed up after the show, if she went and did the after parties. I like the performances by Doja Cat, Ricky, Sabrina, Gaga, Tate McRae. Yeah, they were good performances. Now, I'm going to give you all some inside tea about the Gaga the performance of the Dead Dance and Abracadabra and all that stuff. I'm gonna give y'all some tea on that. I feel so bad for Coney. He performed at the tail end. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said I don't like the fact that y'all just kind of tacked him on at the end. Y'all could have put him earlier. They had a little skinny child up there. I don't know who that was. Was that the one that you was telling me about? There was some little skinny child that was up there that was saying, I'm like, I don't know this music. I don't know who this is. I don't care. Next. Then they had some country girl up there trying to act like she was a poor man's Dolly Parton, just so happened to be strumming her goddamn guitar. I'm like, y'all gotta put them more towards the end. But you go and put Conan at the end, I ain't like that. Gaga's album got uptick in stream sales as well as Abracadabra. And Dead Dance is terrible. Y'all already know I don't like that song. You need a moist towelette. Okay. hmm I know we've had conversations, sir. I feel like Ricky is on that testosterone therapy for his age. I'm definitely telling my doctor, well, shit. Maybe I need to start talking to my damn doctor. Be like, can y'all get me on that testosterone? Because you definitely want to have that kind of youthful energy. Like as you get older, your testosterone levels start to decrease. And I don't want to be out here all like, I don't want to be moving around like I'm Mariah Carey. I want to have energy. Tate had my favorite performance. I love how the male dancers with Greek gods, bodybuilders, and how she performed in the sand. It didn't remind me of Britney necessarily. No, I'm just talking about like I don't say that remind me because Britney's never done that. The sandbox thing did kind of remind me of Gaga because she's kind of doing that on the Mayhem Ball tour where she's inside of a giant sandbox. And y'all already know this stuff because some of the stuff from the Coachella performance is in the tour. Oh, he said Sabrina reminded me of Britney last. That's what I said. Remember when she did that and then she turned back and looked at the audience and did that little smile? I was like, yes, Britney, you better work. I did. Yeah, I like the Ozzy tribute. I didn't know where I was like, I was a little worried. I was like, what's I don't know if I'm gonna be overly excited over this. I hope they do it justice. And then another thing, when Jack Osborne introduced the whole tribute thing, I was like, when did he have them damn kids? That boy Dingaling been busy. The birthday was good. I think I did give a whole behind the scenes situation. I went out, went to a restaurant, went to Outback Steakhouse. It was good and expensive. Um, so it was a good show. Frankie and Tate hugged after performance too on the audience cam. Yeah, I did see some of that stuff too. So I feel like the Daily Mail was trying to create drama where there wasn't, or creating a story around people speculating a bunch of stuff online. But I don't think that he was hating on her. Maybe it was just when you sometimes when you don't realize, like when you watching a performance, you could be so intensely like watching it and trying to catch, okay, where's she going with this? What's happening? Like you trying to take it all in, that you be looking like your face be all screwed up. This ain't Mary J. Blige face when she reacted to Britney and Christina kissing Madonna. When I'm like, girl, allegedly you've been a frequent participant, not participant, you have frequented quite a few freak offs, allegedly, from Diddy, because you know that's your brother, remember that. And I'm like, you probably seen worse there, but you screwing your face up over that? Okay, girl, go sit down. You said Tay had bodybuilder backup dancers. Yeah, she definitely did. The boys was cute though. I'm not gonna hold you on that. The performance was cute. The boys were boying and they half naked. Some of the security was complaining. It was like because during her concert, it was like, oh yeah, the boys was like kissing and doing things on each other. I'm like, okay. This I know a lot of y'all are just like conservatives that live in fucking Long Island and New Jersey. I'm like, y'all never encountered homosexuals, especially when you oh sorry, homosexuals? Oh no, I need to. This boy's got to get to getting because me not being able to do homosexual the way I normally do it, I'm about to be annoyed with this sickness. But I was like, I think people say it's performative because she's never been an outspoken person. She never endorsed a candidate in the last election. People do say she promotes conservative traditional values. Yeah, and it just looks like they want to pounce on anybody. Oh, it was never about just the immigrants with ICE. They're coming after. Yes, they are. Okay. She was walking like a man. Or maybe she was channeling. Remember when she did Obsessed and she dressed as a man? Was supposed to be Eminem, I believe. Maybe she was channeling that character. When she started a performance with the new song. Now I turned the volume down. I turned the VMAs off after Mariah's performance to go shower, and I missed the pre-recorded Gaga show, so it wasn't much. I came back in time to watch the Ozzy performance. Honestly, I feel like you ain't really missed much with the Gaga performance, and I think it's because Gaga the Dead Dance, that was the first time she performed it, so that might have been something maybe worth watching. But once I watched it, I was like, I still feel the same way. If Madonna had given a half-ass performance like Mariah, she'd be okay. So I don't understand why Mariah gets a pass, but everybody else, if they give nothing, y'all be ready to eat them up in the comments. Mariah didn't want to burn calories on the stage, among other things. And that was another thing. People are like, oh, she's 56. So why is Madonna, who's only 10 years older, treated like she's 90? Absolutely. And I got something to say about that when I get to this Gaga thing. So speaking of which, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this Mayhem ball. Now, I'm gonna give y'all the tea on the night before. So on Saturday, is when I found out because I didn't know what was going on. There was so many rumors that was going on. Oh, she filmed in a garage situation. First of all, there's I told y'all before, like there's no except like this little parking thing that you come up the ramp. I mean, you come up this little driveway. There's a parking garage on the left that regular people can park their cars in. On the right is Madison Square Garden, so we do the load outs and load ins there, as well as the talent and whatever can come up that long corridor. Me, I walk in between. I don't go up that thing, but once I'm in the building, I have to go across the little driveway ramp. Whatever. It's a whole situation when you get to see the whole ins and outs of working at MSG. But I have to go across because I got to go pick up my device. I got to pick up a whole bunch of other stuff before I start my shift. So that way, if I need to get in contact with people like a medic or whoever, I have the device in hand where I can go and get in contact who I need to get in contact with. So I have to always cross over the little driveway situation. But there's a little spot they could have filmed and stuff there, but I was like, no, she's not going to do something in that. So that was the rumor that was going on. She was supposed to film this thing. Come to find out, on Saturday she was actually filming the VMA performance. So I was on the floor I didn't get to see it because I was working South Entry, which is like the entrance before you come into the floor level of the arena. So I had to check people's tickets, let them know where. So I was pretty much directing that night. Alongside, I had security and everything with me, so I was pretty much directing people where they needed to go and that sort of thing. So I heard the concert, I heard the performance, and all that other stuff. Now, in regards to the performance, it was actually the regular Mayhem ball started around 9:25, I believe, between 9:25 9:30. The VMA performance was shot around 8:15 ish. We did well, not we. She did, and her dancers. They did two takes of Abracadabra. So they filmed that twice. So of course everybody's thinking like, "Oh my god, the show's on." I was like, "Okay, relax, calm down," because y'all running, and it's like, "Nah, I don't need y'all coming at me like bulls in a china shop. Relax." And I had to tell people, it's the VMA performance. You don't have to run. It's not the concert. You're not gonna miss the show. So then everybody relaxed. They went about their business. I always had, I don't know, it's something about me that I'm able to calm people. I just think I have a ways about me with the tone and the way I carry. I was like, okay, relax. Um, tranquilo. So yeah, so they filmed that twice, and then she had to go backstage and they had to do a costume change, and that took about 20 minutes, and then they had to shoot the dead dance twice. Now, I'm not gonna hold y'all. The dead dance, I already told y'all how I feel about that song. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it. Um, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that song. And there were some people, I kid you not, because I was like, what songs? I gotta look up hold on, the Mayhem sound, like the track list. There were some people that actually agreed with me when they were talking about um the songs from the Mayhem album, that they felt like y'all could have pretty much just used those songs to for the whole Wednesday situation. They feel like that the Dead Dance is sort of like a it feels almost like a demo in a way. So um yeah, they pretty much feel like it's a demo, that sort of thing, and they don't feel like it's a real, like, good song. I mean, there's parts of it, like, some of the choreography is cute or whatever, and I'll get and all other stuff, but as far as, like, a whole song, they're not feeling it. They were like, "I don't understand why they didn't." She coulda revealed she coulda, released Garden of Eden as a single. Perfect Celebrity is a good damn song, and if you see, this is actually a still from the night where she performed, last night, where you can see the moon man in the background and all other stuff. And this is her actually singing Perfect Celebrity. Vanish Into You needs to be a song. Killer's a good song. Some people even saying Zombie Boy. You could have used that song. And I love when she performs a song live. It is definitely a good song to perform. It's also a good song that she sounds like the record when she sings it live. The choreography I actually like. And Zombie Boy, in my opinion, fits within the whole Wednesday situation, because I haven't watched this new season yet, but I heard there's apparently zombies in the show, so or a zombie. Love Drug is a good song. How Bad Do You Want Me? Even though a lot of people compare it to Taylor Swift, it definitely feels like a Yazoo song or Alison Moyet, if you know who that is. Yeah, I'm taking it back. Um, I'm not a fan of The Beast of Blade of Grass. Die with a Smile. That song needs to die on a vine. Um, Shout Out to Man is cute too. But yeah, those are the songs. Kill for Love is like, mm-mm. Oh yeah, they just added that. I just realized I'm looking at a different version of the album where they added Kill for Love and everything to it. But yeah, those songs you could have released instead of going with the other thing, which would be this song. I'm not liking it. The choreography is cute or whatever. And yeah, so um, I will say this. So yeah, they filmed each sequence twice, and then around not between 9:25 and 9:30 is when the actual concert started. It ended around 12, and during the night five, she did a stripped down piano version of Hair. So it's like she's been going back and forth with that, and then closed with Bad Kids, because like after um she's done with the final song, which would be Bad Romance. Then she does oh my god, no, How Bad Do You Want Me is the closer. And then after that, they kind of do their final bows. They pick like a closing song from one of the old albums. And Bad Kids is what she closed out with. Then the next day, so I already gave y'all the whole ins and outs of like what happened with uh the VMA. She went to the VMA. She stayed for about 30 minutes, got her award, said her thank you that you can see in the picture here, and flew. Apparently, she took a helicopter that's from UBS. I don't know where in Long Island they have helipads, but I'm sure they have quite a few of them. They probably drove her to where they need to get on the helicopter, fly her in. I don't think that's going to take long. Probably take about 30 minutes. Fly her in to a helipad which is on 34th Street, I believe, in 12th. Then you could drive her up to 8th. Because it's like 3 long ass blocks from 34th Street, because there is a helipad, like I told y'all, over there. And then just drove her up to come to the garden. I know some people was like, well, why didn't she perform live at the thing? Because that would cost money. One, she would have to bring in her band, she would have to bring in the dancers and have them perform all out there, and she's got to pay for all of them to get over there. You think how many helicopters she gonna fit 25 dancers on? She has about 24, sorry. She has about 24 dancers and a band. There's no way she was getting all of them up in there. So it's just easier, film it the night before, have her show up by herself and whoever her, her assistant or whatever. Actually, sidebar, I actually think I met Gaga's parents because I was on the floor and I'm sure I had a conversation with them, but I didn't realize it until one of my coworkers told me. She was like, "Oh, they were in my section," and I was like, "And that was section A." So like where I was, they had to go past me. So I didn't even think about it because when I'm in work mode, I'm not really all up on celebrity faces. Now, speaking of celebrity faces, the one I did recognize, Cooper Koch was there with his man, and that was Saturday. Um, well, Cooper looked good well, he looked the same as you see him in the show. They was holding hands and everything. So he was like, he out here letting his homosexual freak flag fly. He wasn't hiding I mean, he hasn't hit it. We already know he's openly gay. So we could go around with his man, holding hands, doing whatever as they going in the suite. So yeah, and so then that was that. And then last night's show, she did Edge of Glory. That was like the stripped down piano thing that she does, before she goes into um Vanish into You. Oh, and also I forgot to mention this, the vocals. So y'all already know, like from Miami and the whole situation where she had to cancel that final night. And I was like, okay, allegedly she was BSing, or the people think that she BSing because of the rumor that the tickets wasn't really selling like that in Miami. And you already know, like when it comes to New York City and 6 nights, I feel, and I do not want to bring up in this conversation, but I feel like everything that comes with Gaga, she's always trying to beat a Madonna record or something like that. So her turning down the opportunity to do like a night at New York, I feel like they would have ate her up in the comments. She's all about her and her people, all about trying to get her to beat some type of record, and it's like that'd be cute or whatever if you could beat a record at MSG, whatever that means. But as far as like the cultural impact, the amount of records sold, the amount of whatever, you're never going to beat Madonna's physical sales because you were on the cusp of the physical sales down into the digital sales. So this is a whole nother beast. So Madonna does what she does. She's great. You do what you do. You're great. So if y'all all about here trying to do this little subtle, I'm trying to beat people record, or maybe I'm reading too much into it and it's the media trying to play this whole pitting these two against each other, then we can have that conversation. But I do be feeling like at times that it kind of feels like that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in the other segment for the when I was talking about the VMAs, Gaga basically had her Moon Man in the thing, and she knew it was going to get a lot of applause from her singing to her Moon Man instead of the skeleton that she normally does whenever she does Perfect Celebrity. And yeah, so the vocals and everything, I noticed like Saturday, she wasn't singing as hard because maybe so I'm thinking there might have been some truth to the whole vocal situation. The backing track was really loud. She was singing live, but she wasn't trying to be like, oh, I gotta do like a Christina Aguilera moment where I gotta show off with the vocals and I gotta really sing. And I gotta yang, 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 yang the whole night. I'm like, yo, girl, you ain't gotta do all that. We know Gaga can sing. We know she has that ability. But when it comes down to the singing part, don't really do stuff where you could just, overwork and stress out your vocals and something happens. You don't want a moment like Ava Max. We're talking about her vocal cords exploded or something or another. You don't want that. You don't want no permanent damage. You don't want to like Julie Andrews. So there was that. But I noticed on Sunday she did. There were moments where she sang a little harder. There was a part I did notice. I think it was during Perfect Celebrity, and I think that was Saturday's performance. Or was it yesterday's? I don't remember which one, but she was a little pitchy at parts. I didn't notice that. I was, girl, where's the note? But you're forgiven because we all have our bad days. We can't always be on key every damn time. But we know God could serve, and I guess maybe she was trying to pick a different range because when it's like, yeah, you're worried about damage or whatever, you always want to pick a different register. So when there were parts where she would sing at a higher register, like Vanish into You, y'all already know that part, which is Saw Your Face in Mine, on the boulevard. No, I'm just playing. That's not what she said. um, in a picture by our bedside, that part where she is that higher register. She sang it at a lower register on Saturday. So I was noticing like just a little things, when you have a trained ear for music and singing and piano, classic piano training, which I'm well versed in. You hear the things, you notice the little tempo changes and all the other stuff. I've always had that ear and it was a natural thing, which my music teachers always applauded me for having. Whereas some people they got to rely on other things, but I always had the gift, as I always say. So yeah, overall, the MSG Mayhem Ball, it was a lot. It was exhausting. It was a lot of work. It was crazy. It felt like the energy was higher last night because of all the stuff that was going with UBS and now over to MSG. And UBS is a part of, my union is a part of that whole situation. So a lot of people that I know that that I work with work over there, and they already one of my coworkers actually gave me the heads up that that's where she was going to go, and we were like, really? Then it turned out it was true because he said, yeah, I'm working over there at UBS, and they knew that she was going to be doing that whole performance over there. So overall, I say this: it was a cute performance. The concert definitely was giving. I think one of my friends was there. One of my friends was there the night before, but he was on the opposite side, so I didn't see him. So I didn't even know he was there because he was on North Entry. I was on South Entry, and it's funny how as big as MSG is, you could be on the same floor and you'll miss each other when it comes to stuff. Oh, another thing I forgot to bring up, and I don't think I've ever brought this up when I talk about the Gaga Mayhem Ball. We got to talk about the outfits. There was the shout out to the gays. The gays were bringing it with the costumes. Some of y'all there was one boy. I was like, okay, I see you knees. He was up there, and I was giving compliments, telling people there was one drag queen that cracked me up. She reminded me of Jackie Beaton the way her makeup was, and then I was asking for her ticket, or it was something. She was like, "Oh, my face is not." She said, "My phone's not recognizing my face." I said, "Yeah, because you in drag," and then we had a little laugh. But there was one that had on like this bodysuit that kind of like the back was a thong or whatever his butt, and they had like a little like a V cut out or whatever in the crotch area. It was red and it was see-through, but then they had on kind of like the lace look that Gaga wore, where she had a whole face and everything. Rather, what was that at the VMAs or was that at the Grammys? I can never remember. But remember when she had that whole lace? I think it was the VMAs because I think she won a movie and she had the crown on her head. Remember that look? I think he kind of had that similar look, minus the crown and the wrapped up face and all other stuff. But he had a little red lace bodysuit on, but it and then had a thong on that was black. Girl, you could have just got you a red one so it could just match red one. You should have got you a red one to match the whole outfit, and it would have been cute. You wore a black one because I was like, it could have all blended. Because I was like, if he ain't wear that thong, girl, your meat and potatoes would have been out, and we would all been gagging. So the boys was up in there half naked, giving body and everything, and fully confident. And he had on top of that, he had on like these high ass. Well, they were red. But I don't know if they was real Louboutins, but they was red bottoms. So we'll just call them Fouboutins until I could be proven they was actually, the real Louboutin type. So yeah, the boys was up there serving and giving looks, the girls too, but we ain't talking about the ladies. We talking about the men's. So shout out to y'all. And a lot of these little white queens that was out here serving, and I'm sure they all live in some damn Brooklyn. So they was up in there confident in their outfits. You gotta be if you're gonna show up at a Gaga concert. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you get to catch the Mayhem Ball when it was at MSG? What were your favorite highlights? Were you actually at the taping of the VMAs? And were you at the one from last night? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. ARP ain't covering Mariah. Oh my God, I am so mad at myself because I forgot to mention this. There was a situation where I'm like, during one of the performances of Lady Gaga, somebody went and said, what was it? Because I wrote the exact situation. Oh, so before she said, I think it was around the time when she sang "Vanish into You." She asked the audience, she was like, "When I'm old and gray, will you still come and see me perform?" And they was all up in there with thunderous applause. I was like, okay, now y'all saying this now, and I'm gonna put this in with when I cut up this whole segment and put it online. So I'm gonna keep it going and put this up there so you hoes hear this. I don't want, and this is directly to a lot of you baby critters. I'm not talking about the little moms. I'm talking about the little shady ones that be trying it with the ageism. I want to hear jack shit about Madonna and her age when your fave just said that same thing last night and y'all was up in there clapping like a bunch of goddamn seals. I don't want to hear nothing. So if your fave, you can get up there and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a supporter when she old and gray." I don't want to hear no ageist comments when it refers to Madonna. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. All right, so now let me go back and see what the people are saying. Because I was putting my whole neck in my tone in the whole situation in that one. Okay, so you said Gaga is receiving so much backlash for the usage of. Oh yeah, I did hear that. Do y'all think it was AI up in there? I just didn't care about the video all that much, so I really wasn't paying attention to all the details and stuff up in there. Like you said, some people are even saying the song itself was made using AI at the beginning, so I refuse to listen. Wait, so have you not actually listened to the song? You said, "I'm not living for 2025 Gaga. Love her down, but I've just been very disappointed this year supporting her." You want to know something? A lot of people was who was I having a conversation with? It might have been in that Rebel Hearts group chat. But it was some other, there were far more people that had a really big culturally significant year, like Bad Bunny and things like that, especially with Bad Bunny doing the Puerto Rico residency. Like to me, that's a big moment. But y'all out here praising Gaga, and you know what? She's definitely serving with the live performances in the Mayhem Ball tour, which I feel like she's trying to capitalize because of all the stuff that was going on with Coachella and the other, and then the what was the other one that she did? The Rio show, which child, they was out here talking about Madonna still holding that Guinness World Record that the people was lying apparently about how much excuse me, how many people was actually on Copacabana Beach. I said, we've been saying that. I'm just glad that the Guinness World Records confirmed what I've been saying for the longest. Because you cannot get over 2 million people on no damn beach. Not in Rio. Yeah, like that article saying she has more movement than Madonna. And I had a guy trying to tell me that Madonna has only sold 192 million. Okay. Where they get their tea from? The red lace look with the crown was at the VMA. That's also Eminem infamously seemed weirded out when he presented. Speaking of Eminem, I gotta check out that Stan documentary that's on Paramount Plus. I definitely there's so many documentaries and things I gotta check out. There's a lot of people releasing documentaries. We got a couple and we're gonna get into later on in the show. So we got to talk about when we get to the Paula Deen thing and Charlie Sheen. They both got documentaries coming out. Oh wait, you said how do you feel about the Abracadabra lip sync at the season 17? I don't remember what I said, but I think I was overwhelmed. I mean, underwhelmed. I didn't really yeah, it didn't give. I think me and Onyx basically was saying like, yeah, it wasn't giving. I was kind of, I mean, I think maybe because I already knew it was coming because all that information I had known before the episode even aired. I've listened to the song in full. People would think I would like this song, this Gaga era, because it's gothic. You know what? With you saying that, I find that insulting. That people think, oh, just because you wear black and you wear like crazy makeup, which I did notice in the details when she performed the dead dance, she had like that vein, she had like a little vein interjected into her makeup and stuff to make her look like she was dead. And she kept that makeup on the whole Mayhem Ball, on Saturday night. And my thing is just because you throw on a couple of gothic outfits or whatever doesn't necessarily make you goth. Like to me, like if you want real goth, goth, um, you would look at people like 9 Inch Nails and that sort of vibe. Marilyn Manson was like in the whole gothic thing. So I don't get that when Ministry, that's goth. Um, oh my God, what the hell is his name? The one that used to wear that crazy makeup and had the weird hair. I don't know why. Is it Morrissey? Am I thinking about? Is that what I'm thinking about? No, I don't think that was Morrissey was problematic. I didn't like Morrissey all that much. Um, my old heads put me on. Who was that? The one that wore like that would have like the smeared makeup or whatever, and had like the messy hair. Kind of was giving like Tim Burton tease. Um, can't remember his name, but yeah, like to me when I look at goth, I was like, I don't think Lady Gaga. I feel like Lady Gaga a lot of times is it gives cosplay with a lot of the stuff that she does. And she performed the Dead Dance. That was the closing performance last night. Like when she gives her final bow. That was the song they played, and then her and her dancers got up there. Thank you. It was yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. From The Cure. Um, her and her dancers got up there and did the dance choreography to the song as it played. Yeah, I definitely got to check that out. I was seeing like it was getting ads because I started. Funny enough, I started watching. Speaking of Drag Race, I started rewatching season 16. I haven't even started Wednesday. So I have no idea what's going to season. Although I've been hearing a couple of things, I haven't gotten around to watching any of this season yet. I'll get around to it eventually, probably a year from now. But no, I know I definitely need to get into it. But no, I haven't watched it yet. All right, y'all. So now let's get into it's crazy. Like we're an hour and a half almost into the show, and I only did three topics. Well, that's because look, the MTV VMAs, it took up a lot of it was a lot that was going on. I had to break down, and I like to give detail. I don't. I'm not no. I can't do like the whole TikTok 30 seconds or less situation. Like I got to give y'all all the tea and the mayhem ball stuff. But yeah, so I'm wondering, Onyx, was all the stuff I told y'all about the MSG, the when you were getting all the play by play, um, did it match what I was telling you? Okay, but while you put that in, I'll get right to the rest of the show. So okay, so now let's get into the team. Let's talk about box office. So I guess shout out to the Conjuring, which scared up the box office over the weekend. Was calling the movie one of the best opening weekends for any horror movie of all time, with an $187 million global haul, nearly quadrupling its budget instantly. And I know some people gagging like, how the hell were they able to do that with with the way this franchise? Because when it comes to the Conjuring, and I already told y'all that there's 9 movies between these films and the spin-offs and all the other stuff. I've never been that overly excited about The Conjuring. I've always thought it was a bit hit and miss. I liked the first one. The first one was cute. They had a couple of sequels. And me, I'm not really big into like demonic possession type stuff because I feel like since The Exorcist, they've been trying to find so many ways to do like the supernatural scare thing, and it doesn't give me what I want in regards to that. So I just be like, okay, whatever. Um, but one thing I did know, because it never fails, even when I back in the days when I worked at AMC, whenever we get those demon possession movies, I've always noticed that the Latino market were always the ones that would come out and be huge supporters and the huge demographic that would go see these damn movies. So according to Variety, they said the ninth entry in Warner Brothers, the New Line's paranormal franchise, collected a sensational 194 million worldwide in its first weekend of release, above Sunday's already massive estimate of 187 million worldwide. Now those ticket sales have eclipsed the all-time horror benchmark previously set by 2017's It with 190 million. The Conjuring Last Rites also set a horror record in the international box office with 110 million in its opening. Well, like I said, um, demon possessions are very much a big market, particularly amongst the Latino community or the Latin community, I should say. Um, you could sell this movie, they'll definitely do well because they like all that stuff. I mean, when you raised Roman Catholic like I was, you totally believe about demonic spirits and haunted houses and all kinds of that crazy stuff. And I think also what helped this movie is that they said this is the final movie in the franchise, right? The Last Rites. They said it's the final movie. But then again, now that this movie made so much damn money, I kind of doubt if this will be the final entry in the franchise because as long as these movies make money, you already know like Hollywood likes to capitalize. I hope they don't go renege on that. Like go out with a bang, in my opinion. And then if you want to find ways to spin off the other stuff, then do that. Or if you want to do a prequel with with the parents when they were younger, didn't they do a prequel of sorts? I'm trying to remember. But if y'all want to find other ways to make this franchise interesting, go ahead and do that. But I feel like the Conjuring thing needs to be laid to rest. So, what else? Okay, they said the latest Conjuring earned 84 million domestically, marking the third biggest for the genre after two other Warner Brothers titles. 2017, It with 123 million, and 2019's It Chapter 2 with 91 million. Sunday's estimates have already registered as the best domestic, international, and global launch for the occult titled series. Directed by franchise veteran Michael Chavez, The Conjuring Last Rites stars Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren, two paranormal investigators. I heard they were frauds too. There was a whole investigation, I think, that was done into them, who attempt to vanquish a demon from a family's home. James Wan, who corrected the property, and Peter Safran returned as producers. Shout out to Peter Safran, was over there working with James Gunn on the whole DC universe. The Conjuring universe, which includes several sequels and spin-offs such as The Nun and Annabelle, is the highest-grossing horror franchise in history with more than $2.3 billion. Now, since its entry carries a $55 million price tag, it's already a commercial winner for Warner Brothers. And you already know, look, and they also said that the studio first just made box office history as the first to ever have 7 consecutive films open above $40 million. So you already know, like we already talked about it before, 28, 2015, 2025, 2015, that's like 10 years ago. 2025 started out off a bit rocky for Warner Brothers, where, Joker Foley Out Doo Doo, Mickey 17, which I still haven't seen, but I heard Mickey 17 is actually good. And all the Alto Nights, I think that's the movie where Robert De Niro plays like twins or something or another. Those movies didn't do all that well at the box office. And we already know like folk Joker was a hot mess. But after that, we saw this big turnaround. Wait, wasn't Companion a part of Warner Brothers too? That I don't think that did well, even though that was a great movie. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. But after that, then all of a sudden they saw this big turnaround. It started with a Minecraft movie, followed by Sinners. Then we had Final Destination Bloodlines, F1 the movie, which I absolutely love. But to be fair, that studio distributed it for Apple, even though it was an Apple property. Then we had Superman, and most recently we had Weapons. So now we can add The Conjuring, The Last Rites to that. So yeah, it's like Warner Brothers on a roll this year. So yeah, they've out of all the studios, they've had a great year. And I know like with Paramount doing their whole thing with was it Skydance? They're looking for a big turnaround. Although I will say this about Paramount, y'all need to tread lightly because I understand you're getting ambitious and you're signing all these IPs and you're trying to like really show like you're pulling out the big guns and you're doing all this great stuff. I had heard from some people, and I don't watch commercials and things of that nature, but apparently on Paramount Plus, they were airing pro ice commercials. That's what I was hearing from people. So I understand y'all had to slob the little knob that belongs to the current president of the United States. That walking disaster who made everybody's lives a living hell at the U.S. Open yesterday. I understand y'all had to do what y'all had to do to get that merger to go through because you need federal approval in order to get the Skydance and Paramount situation to happen. Y'all can stop sucking his dick now. Y'all can move on from that unless that's part of the contract. That's part of the deal. You got a little longer so that way everything goes through. But it's like, yeah, the pro ICE propaganda and the Republican leaning crap, y'all gonna make me have to cancel my damn subscription to Paramount. Y'all keep that shit up. So congratulations to The Conjuring, even though yeah, it is not like my cup of tea. I'm not really big, like I told you, I'm not like as far as like, I love a lot of different genres of horror films and stuff, but um one of the movies, demon possession films are not necessarily my thing. One of the movies I will tell y'all to definitely check out, which is off topic. I happened to see it over the weekend. If you have Shudder, besides Clown on the Cornfield, because I did enjoy that movie. Dangerous Animals, I believe is the name of it, with Jai Courtney, and he plays like this tourist guide or whatever who's a serial killer, and he has a fascination with sharks. And that's all I'm going to tell you because it is like one of the craziest shark movies I've seen in a long time. And it's a lot. It's really hard. Like when we talk about demon possession movies or whatever, it's really hard to make a good movie that stands the test of time in the vein of like The Exorcist. It's the same way I feel about when it comes to Jaws. This movie is literally could be up there where it could rival. I won't say rival it too much because Jaws is always going to be a classic. It's 50 years old. It is what it is. But Dangerous Animals, oh my God, I had such a good time with that movie. That movie had me on the edge of my seat. Jai Courtney, definitely served definitely convincing as a serial killer. And the actress that played Zephyr, the girl that he kidnaps, she definitely held her own in that movie. And there's one particular scene involving a thumb that had me squirmish throughout the movie. So, during that particular scene. So definitely check that movie out. I'll recommend you that, even though I heard The Conjuring Last Rites got mixed reviews from a lot of people that actually went to see it. Some people I know liked it. Some people was like, it was whack. That's what I heard. So I haven't seen it. I'll wait till it comes out on the streaming service and check it out because, like I told you, The Conjuring is not my cup of tea. But I'll check it out when it comes out on one of the streaming services. I ain't going to the movies to waste my coins on to see that. I'm actually gonna go. I'll actually wait until. Um, Damn, what's the next movie that's supposed to be coming out? Oh, the Long Walk. I'm actually gonna go see that this week. I heard that was a really good one. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Have you seen The Conjuring Last Rites? What were your overall thoughts regarding the film? Are you surprised that it made the amount of money that it's made at the box office? Whatever your thoughts are. Well, they did say it's the last one, right? So that's probably why it made the money it made. And people want to be a part of that whole situation because allegedly this is the last movie. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Said, damn, I don't know if I should go watch this. Oh, you're talking about what? You don't not sure if you want to go watch The Conjuring? I was underwhelmed by that lackluster demon. He said, yes, it matched. It felt like I knew something I wasn't supposed to know. Mm. As I said, I don't know what that site you was talking about. I was like, all the tea. I'm telling you, that's literally what happened that night. You said, yeah, but it's funny how. I'm actually curious as to like who was spilling the tea. Was it an actual person that was there, or was it somebody that worked there? I don't think I could get in trouble for talking about like stuff that goes down at the garden. I'm not telling y'all personal behind the scenes business stuff. But anything that's going on with the event and the show and stuff is like I can give you all a little inside scoop. The Nun was the best movie in the franchise. I actually did like The Nun. I'm not gonna hold on that. Isn't the Exorcist? Yeah, it's supposed to be with Mike Flanagan. It's supposed to be. I don't know if he's directing it, but I believe he wrote the script and he's behind it. Oh, he might be directing it. Mike Flanagan is the only one I'll give a pass to because I've liked a lot of Mike Flanagan's stuff. So like he did the Clayface. I think that's what he's working on. Um or wrote the script for it. I'm not sure if he's directing it, but they said that his Clayface script is really good. We'll see when it comes out. Um then he did this damn, I forgot the name of it, which was like this vampire Netflix series. That was really good. He's worked on a couple of Stephen King S projects. He also did the Haunting of Hill House that's on Netflix. So yeah, and also I believe if I'm not mistaken, Mike Flanagan did damn, what was the sequel to The Shining? Doctor Sleep. I believe he did that one too. That was a good one. The 3-hour extended version, I recommend that one over the theatrical release because you get so much more. And Rebecca Ferguson as the villain in that movie, she definitely turned it. But yeah, there is an Exorcist remake after that abomination that David Gordon Green put out. I said with that box office, it's not the last one. That's why I said that it's all that money. You know how Hollywood is. He said, "Not me wanting to let John Courtney catch me in dangerous." Now he would have stabbed you and threw you in that damn water to the sharks. The women he actually liked to keep. The men, he was doing all kinds of, you know. But yeah, he said this is why gays aren't in horror movies. Hi, I'm just tuning in. You might have mentioned it, but there were ice cream. Yeah, I did. Um, I didn't mention it during the VMAs thing because I completely forgot because it was so much that I was trying to. Well, I had in my notes, and I was also just remembering certain things and expanding on my little cliff notes. But yeah, I did mention the whole ICE recruitment. So they were playing the ICE commercials and all. I was like, really, this is what we doing, Paramount? Like y'all pro immigration. I mean, anti-immigration. Like this is what you doing because you so happy that Trump let that whole deal go through. The warrants were fake, so the man was in trouble for under. Oh, and this is what they out here promoting. Because I guess if they feel like people don't know the history behind the Warren, so they just we got the name and we got the whole alleged we were paranormal investigators, so we just use that outline, but everything else we just make up. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's move on and get back into the show. Oh, wait, I accidentally scrolled down to another thing. Okay, I got it. Let's get into this Lizzo tea. So, I don't know if y'all know, but Lizzo dropped an expanded is the word I wanted to use, of her, expanded version of her mixtape. My face hurts from smiling, which y'all already know. When I told about it on this show, I gave it rave reviews. I liked it. I like what I heard. I like when Lizzo gets on her rap bag. She definitely has a talent in that whole situation. But recently, she went on TikTok and basically went on a whole rant against the current state of the music industry. Now, she talked about how established artists are drowning in algorithmic chaos and voice her frustration. And saying that how streaming platforms have fundamentally broken the connection between artists and their devoted fan bases. And what some people were saying was that, oh, now you want to sit and bitch and moan and complain, but it wasn't that once upon a time, not long ago, you was benefiting from the very things that you're complaining about now. So they find it quite fitting that all of a sudden you got a whole lot of complaints about it, but and I guess because you're in this situation where I don't want to use the word canceled because I'm so sick of anytime somebody does something inappropriate or whatever the case is, oh, they're canceled. No, it's called being held accountable for your actions. And I think that's the word we need to start using a lot more of instead of canceling. People are not TV shows, they're not a sitcom. You can't cancel a person. You can cancel a show, you can cancel things on a network, you can cancel a play like they did with Billy Porter. And we'll get into that story later on. But you can't cancel people. You can hold them accountable for the things that they do. And then if they don't want to take accountability for their actions, then you just don't feature them no more. And then it'll just have to affect their wallet and everything else until they can come to terms with that accountability and we authentically feel that they have pay their dues, learn their lesson, and then we could all move on with our damn lives. So I do have that clip courtesy of excuse me, the TikTok. And it is a bit lengthy. It's about 3.5 minutes. So I'm definitely we'll play that clip and we will come back and talk. Please.
Hi, I'm a multiple Grammy Award winning artist with multiple number ones and multiple platinum plaques, soon to be diamond plaque. If you are upcoming in this industry, you should watch this video. The music industry is in complete shambles right now, and you can use that to your advantage. Back in the day, the music industry was very algorithmic, as any other industry was, but that industry was controlled to a certain extent. Now that we are in the digital streaming age, there is no control over the algorithm, and it is stressing people the fuck out, myself included. Every major artist besides Beyonce has dropped music this year, or is planning to drop music this year, or has featured on somebody's record this year. I dropped a mixtape over the summer. I had SZA and Doja Cat on it, and I just dropped the deluxe to my mixtape today. And yet there are still people who don't even know I dropped music. Every major artist from Lady Gaga to Drake has dropped albums this year, and yet everyone is saying there's no song of the summer. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's not because the music isn't incredible. It's because the way that the algorithm is set up, no one can serve the masses anymore. This industry used to be based on serving the masses, basically like servicing your song out to certain channels and certain radio stations. The internet space wasn't so congested. There was a clear channel back in the day for major artists to put their music out and serve the masses. Now you have to serve your people. I started a private page just for my fans, Lizzo IRL, and it has been one of the most incredible experiences for me as an artist. It gives me an opportunity to talk to my fans one on one and give them the exclusives, share music with them, share my deep thoughts with them. My deep thoughts are not on my main page anymore. And that allows me to have a dialogue with the people who actually give a fuck about me. Because with this algorithm, just putting your music out 9 times out of 10 is not even going to reach your fan base. Think about the way this TikTok algorithm works. Look how many followers I have. Look how many followers you have. And when you post a video, how many of your followers actually see your video? Not that many, right? Because even though someone is following you, it's not guaranteed that they're going to see you on their FYP. And everyone uses their FYP. And TikTok knows that. So for new artists, this is actually incredible news. You now more than ever have an advantage over even major artists to get your music out there and connecting with people at a way quicker rate. Right now is the time to put yourself out there. I wouldn't even try to go the old school route and get signed. I would just make as much music as possible, as much content as possible, and put it on the internet. As for bigger artists, bigger mainstream artists, now is the time to talk to your fan base. Taylor Swift does an incredible job of it, and she's been doing it for a long time. The Swifties are locked the fuck in. And now so are the lesbians. We're small, but we're motherfucking mighty. Anyway, I say all that to say that this year has been an incredible year for music. It just hasn't been on your algorithm. Stream My Face Still Hurts from Smiling. Out.
Okay, so y'all got the point. But yeah, I totally forgot she calls her damn fans the lesbians. That is funny. But anyway, you want to know something? She's absolutely right in that whole situation. It's like, it's cute or whatever. Yeah, she benefited and all that other stuff. I said what I said earlier, and I still stand on that. But I do agree. Like, y'all don't, and how many times I've been telling y'all, you don't need the music industry in order to get your stuff out there. You definitely have an advantage in regard. Everybody think, oh, I need to be signed so I can run around and say I was signed. But you don't realize you were a cuck to that label. The labels, and I'm going to tell you this. One of the things I learned, because I remember saying this before, there was somebody, I forget who it was, that was talking about how they were. I think it was Charlemagne that was talking about. I think he was on. He did Vlad TV or something or another, and they were talking about how like they're not playing. There's no radio songs anymore. You know how you would do some of your songs for radio specifically, and then you would get a different version when you listen to the album. They don't do that no more. And they were saying that maybe the reason why that the record companies aren't really investing as much into those radio plays and things of that nature is because what people don't realize, record labels benefit the most from being, from the streaming. Not necessarily the artists. The artists will get, I guess, from the radio spins. They get it from if they tour, the merchandise and all other stuff. So yeah, it's like if anything, take a page out of the Taylor Swift's business handbook and lock in your fans. If you have a hardcore group of fans, you can't rely on immigration. You can't rely on Instagram's algorithms. You can't rely on TikTok and all the other stuff of people knowing if somebody's out there. Create your own site where you have a newsletter or whatever the case is, where you talk directly to your fans and they know what's going on, because those are the ones who are going to support you and put the money behind you at the end of the day. So lock into those people specifically. Let those people who support you, regardless of how you feel about Lizzo. It could just be anybody. And I feel like, yeah, as these days, it's so much easier, in my opinion, to be an artist. You just got to be the one to invest in you. I know and I'm sure that there are ways out there where you don't even need to have money per se in order to get yourself out there, create your content, post it on social media. Hopefully those songs go viral, and you just have to continue to post, and invest in you, and not realize also that Rome wasn't built in a day. The success and everything is not going to happen overnight. You just have to really take the time to really invest. And if those labels want to come along, It's like, okay, you can come along and you can do whatever, but no, I want a distribution deal. I don't want to necessarily be tied to a record label because a lot of these times these labels will sign you and then just leave you on the sidelines and you sitting there like, okay, so when's my album coming out? I don't want to have to rely on someone to put out a record. It's like I know beat makers, I know songwriters, I know people who I can go and do a photo shoot for an album cover. So you don't necessarily need all of that. You don't need a label to give you the things that you could do where there's people out here that could do really good photography and you don't have to spend 10 grand or 50 grand or $100,000 on a shoot. Because there's people that be charging that much and y'all be giving shit work. I've seen it. So shout out to you, Lizzo. And I know people feel the ways and stuff about her, but she's writing everything that she said. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story? It is sad to see like the state of the music industry and how it's just trash right now, and how they don't really invest and put money and behind and support a lot of the artists that they do. I just feel like a lot of these artists have become lazy too, and a lot of y'all are not business minded. And it's like if it's going to come to your stuff, you really need to be up on your promotion bag. You need to use a lot of, since the internet is quick access, you need to use a lot of this to your advantage and not just rely on um these labels to push you, because a lot of times, like I said, they will sideline you because they want to give your best work or whatever they can. Even if you 10 times more talented than the major artists they got on their roster, they will try to take your ish and pass it on to that person. And meanwhile, since you signed that contract, you're being sidelined. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think of what Lizzo had to say on this? Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Libria said, makes you question who are the real demons. Okay, well, they're all in the White House. The person who spilled the tea on the Discord server was oh, okay, you said it was an attendee. I only downloaded Discord for VMAs night, so I don't have it downloaded anymore. Okay, so yeah, oh, child, it'd be funny if the attendee was based off of what I told them. Because I was spilling tea to some of the guests that was in there. I got a big mouth. Lizzo making excuses as to why no one wants to listen to her. Ooh. I mean, I definitely get that too, because the whole backlash for everything that she was doing. So I would not be surprised if that was part of the reason. But it's still, good advice that she's giving though. Hey Chris, much love. The eclipse yesterday got me good. Damn. Oh, is that why people was working my root canal? Because some of them damn little monsters, y'all was getting on my damn nerves last night. I had to snap on one. So, when I'm literally saying tickets, and they literally walking past me, I'm like, and I had to scream it for them to hear it. I don't know if y'all was hard of hearing or um you just chose, because one thing I don't like about a lot of you homosexuals is there's a certain type, and y'all know the ones I'm talking about, the ones that like to look through you like you don't exist. Bitch, you're not doing that up in here. Not when I'm working. I don't have to deal with you in real life, personal, at the bar, club, whatever the case is. But when you coming up in a section that I'm running, you don't just walk in like you just own the shit. It's like, pull them tickets up. Where you going? It's that people see through Lizzie. She trying to climb back. Video acts, the radios, and streaming platforms manipulate even more. You know what I was thinking that too? I was feeling like even with the algorithms and stuff, the algorithms definitely don't push out. Like there are times when I'm like, I'll even say this for an example on this show. I've been saying like sometimes the algorithm, depending on what it is, it pushes out certain topics. And then there's some where it's like, how is it that my live streams always get low numbers? And then there'll be clips that I post up on YouTube that get low numbers. But when I go on TikTok and I go other places, the numbers be blowing up. So sitting in the milk and clean over here with the whole YouTube situation. So I don't know. Child, let's get into it. Let's talk about Britney. Because apparently she out here being a mess, but um when isn't Britney out here being a mess? So apparently she's living in a poison paradise because family insiders are saying she isn't functioning like an adult. Um and they've been criticizing over the fact they're saying the mansion is messy, that The floor is dirt. Well, first of all, I looked at them pictures, and yeah, that floor definitely was giving like, girl, you ain't mopped this floor in a month of Sundays. And then what's about that? There's dog poop all over the house, even down to where you see in the red that is circled that yeah, there's dog feces all over the floor. They're going to the bathroom all over the place, like they're not trained. I Both of my dogs are trained. That was why I was late too for the show. I was actually going to start at 5. I forgot to mention that. What was it? 5:15. I went on 5:30 because all of a sudden, the minute I was about to go live, my dog all that damn noise. And I'm like, okay, Zena, calm down. And she started the minute I go and start mocking her, she jumps on me as big as she is, and she sheds, which is the worst. And then I was like, okay, damn, now I gotta take her to the bathroom. And then of course if she goes, Prince gotta go. So I had to take them to the bathroom. That's what delayed me with this whole, so that's what that reminded me of when I saw this. So, according to the Daily Mail, they said the singer has sparked fresh concern on multiple occasions ever since her 13-year conservatorship ended in 2021. But following a recent string of particularly bizarre social media posts, one of which included a look at her disheveled mansion, one insider has told the Daily Mail that Spears is having an episode right now, and we are going to see her battle through it the way she has for years. Saying, quote, those close to her have seen this over and over again, and though it is monitored, they aren't going to make any type of intervention. Wait, they're saying it's monitored. So who actually is monitoring it? Because I'm wondering, like, with the whole conservatorship situation being abolished, right? Is she under a thing where there are people who are like monitoring her and on the lookout, so she's not 110% out of it? She has somebody who looks out for her, monitors her, makes sure she takes her meds or whatever the case is. Because I'm curious. When y'all sit there talking about she's having an episode and this is the way she goes through it and it's being monitored, they're not gonna go and really like, I guess, do like they did back in the day. Remember when they were talking about they had the 5150 her and she had to be committed. I don't remember if and then they were doing like the electric shock and all the other stuff. And I think they was giving her lithium too. So all of that probably messed her up. Another source says the Spears family said they are worried, adding that the star is not doing well at all, and those close to her are terrified for her future. Saying her house is a mess. She doesn't clean up after the dog. She doesn't have someone there cleaning every day, and she just isn't functioning like an adult would function. Oh, I know that house stink. They probably smell like urination and duty. It's my duty to tap that booty. Okay, then it said in November 12th, 2021, Spears celebrated what she called the best day ever when a judge called an end to her conservatorship as fans wept for joy outside the courtroom. It appeared the reputation of her father, who Jamie Spears, who's 73, was ruined after he was cast as the villain who controlled every element of her life for 13 years. Jamie insisted his control of Spears's finances, career, and personal liberties was to protect her well-being, yet his daughter claimed it was abusive and likened her situation to being a sex trafficking victim. Is that a lot to be comparing yourself to when you sitting there calling yourself a sex trafficking victim? Some people are like, okay, bro, you ODing, but that's what she feels like, that she's being trafficked around and making her do things she don't want to do, then I guess that's what we're gonna go with. Now, after detailing how she was allegedly made to work against her will, forced into taking birth control, and had no control over seeing her sons or friends, fans launched a Free Britney campaign, or I should say, hashtag Free Britney campaign, and rejoiced in their idol's eventual emancipation. However, nearly 4 years later, some are now beginning to question whether they were too quick to celebrate. Saying this comes after a bout of erratic social media posts where she has danced with knives, as you can see in this picture, claimed she burned down her bathroom and ranted about fake friends. She also talked about her relationship with Sam Asghari being fake and all the other stuff, but I feel like I stated before when I talked about that, and he would say, "Oh no, I feel like my relationship with her is very real." Um, I feel like when she was saying that, that was like the thing about her father. And then saying that she had no control over seeing her sons or her friends. So I think that that all played into a whole thing about when she was in a relationship with Sam as well. So they said family and friends are always concerned with Britney as they try to navigate her mental health while allowing her to still be able to do her own thing. As much as they want to help her, nobody can really do anything. Also, if anyone sounds the alarm, then the Free Britney people will come back into the situation. So that's another thing too. It's like we like Britney, we genuinely care for her, which is why if I didn't give a shit about Britney, I wouldn't be doing these damn videos. Yeah, I throw in jokes or whatever, but everybody gets red on this show. Y'all should know that by now. Everybody gets a stray. Even when it's not intentional, everybody gets a stray. Pow pow, I'm a straight shooter. So um when it comes down to it, I feel a genuine concern about her. Like, if she is having episodes, and y'all can't sit up in here and deny that this girl is acting out, is out there where the damn buses don't run. Let's be real about the situation. But even if somebody should be able to have their freedom, because we say the same thing about Wendy Williams. I want Wendy Williams to be able to go freely and do all the things, but she also needs people in place to keep her on the right track so she doesn't do anything that's going to harm herself or those around her. And if Britney is out here doing crazy stuff, like I've heard people sit up in here and be like, well, she danced with Nah, but y'all don't say nothing about Shakira. I'm like, first of all, Shakira is half Lebanese. Her dancing, that's a part of her culture with the knives. That's not, and she ain't out here with no damn butcher knives from the damn kitchen. And Britney out here doing whatever what she was doing. You know what she remind me of? Remember that girl with the black and white hair, the porcupine hairdo that was in Friday the 13th Part 5? Where she was doing like that whole robot dance move. That's what Britney was giving with them knives. No shade. I'm just saying. But if you know, you know. You can look it up because I gave y'all the full vivid description. But people make excuses for her behavior and stuff, and it's like, yeah, when you genuinely care about her and you want to help her and you know her better than these so-called fans, it's like you can like her music, you can like her performances, you can like the Britney that we grew up knowing her as back in the day, but you have to realize the people are not the persona. The persona of who they were on stage, that's a piece of who they are. That's a part of who they are. You don't truly know these celebrities. So if there are people who are in close proximity with her and know her better than a lot of y'all and me, then I feel like you should allow those people to step in and really try to help her get the help she needs instead of y'all running around trying to assert yourselves in something you don't know about. And so that's where it comes in with this whole conversation. Like, yeah, it's a no-win situation because you got those people who are close to her. They don't want to step on any toes because they don't want the backlash from the Me Too people and the hardcore Britney fans. But if this girl ends up unalive for whatever situation, then all of a sudden y'all want to jump on the line with the hood, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Why wasn't nobody there to help? Because y'all won't shut the fuck up and mind your goddamn business. That's why. Because y'all want to assert yourselves in things you don't know about. And so when people are there to try to do the helping, they don't want the backlash from it-alls. That's why. So I'm putting that out there now, just in case something happens. And then y'all can revert back to this clip. So that way y'all can be aware of the situation. So they said everyone sees the same thing from fans or friends, but there isn't anything that can be done to move forward, and it just ends up being a never-ending circle. The source added that we are going to continue to see videos of her dancing, her voice changing. Yeah, that's what she's been given. Despite the alarm bells, a third insider who's close to Spears said her house is crazy, but it always has been, adding that Spears is just being less careful with what she shows nowadays, saying it has always been a mess with dogs running around and a ton of staff to run her errands, saying that Spears thinks she's doing fine. She's not at all worried about how she acts. She thinks she is normal. She's very sweet and likes her freedom. She's not crying at home. She is doing her thing. Still, Spears sparked mental health crisis concerns in May last year at the Chateau Marmont as shocking photos showed the star being escorted out to emergency services while barefoot and wrapped in a blanket. That's when she was with that criminal. Mama, I'm in love with a criminal. Spears was seen clad in underwear, clutching a pillow and appearing distressed as she left the hotel. She had abrasions on her knees and appeared to be topless as security surrounded both her and her ex-felon boyfriend. Well, her ex-boyfriend, who is a known felon. I ain't an ex-felon. Paul Richard Solis, who I believe they were talking about he had 9 kids. Damn, them balls was busy. And he said, meanwhile, the second source said that while people close to Spears are worried, nobody's thinking about intervening because of the criticism her father received when he was in charge of her conservatorship. Saying, yeah, of course we're worried, but what are we going to do? The last time Jamie took over to actually help her, he was turned into Satan. In 2007, Spears infamously shaved her head, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to go into all of that. Then they said after refusing to relinquish custody of her two sons to her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, and I think it was probably because, with the paparazzi and everything that was going on at that time, and people wouldn't leave her alone, and she was undergoing a lot of stress, and people were trying to control every aspect of her career, and she wasn't able to do whatever she wanted because she was Pop's princess. She was the princess of Pop. So, when Jive got their little cash cow, she can't do nothing. So that was her rebellious phase. And then, some people was out here saying Kevin Federline saw a gold mine, latched his hooves and that dick onto her. And at the time, Britney got her first whiff of dick and it was a wrap. She got dickmatized by anybody that wagged a peen in her direction. Because she said she loved sex. And this is not me sex shaming because I am a slut my damn self. But but we just gotta call it as it is. Whores get paid. And then that's when they committed her into a psych ward of Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center and placed on as I told y'all earlier, when I mentioned the 5150 psychiatric hold. She was then entered into a conservatorship shortly after on February 1st with Judge Revogoats, placing her father and attorney Andrew M. Wallet as conservatives. It began as a temporary arrangement but became permanent by the end of the year. Now, in the years that followed, Spears was deemed well enough to work in what the former estate conservator called the hybrid business model in court papers, but not well enough to control her personal life. She continued to work and release albums throughout her time in the conservatorship, though she entered a psych ward again in 2019 due to stress from her father's near fatal colon rupture. Then there were reports the same year that Spears was being held against her will in the conservatorship, which gave way to the hashtag Free Britney movement and ultimately the end of legal control in November 2021. So they were running around, they were saying, like, yeah, Jamie was using her for her money. They was like, no, it wasn't true. He basically wasn't out here using her and taking advantage of her. He was paid, but at the end of the day, the money was still hers and it was helping. She wasn't living like she lives now. She was working, she was living well. But now they're saying she's not doing well at all. So, um, and then they also said in 2021, per court documents, Spears' father said her struggles with addiction and mental health issues are far more serious than the public knows. In a 15-page filing to Los Angeles County Court, his lawyer said if the public knew all the facts of Miss Spears' personal life, not only her highs, but also her lows, all of the addiction and mental health issues that she has struggled with, and all the challenges of a conservatorship, they would praise Mr. Spears for the job he's done, not vilify him. Having regained control of her social media in 2021, eyebrows were raised when Britney immediately began stripping off for nude selfies and filming herself dancing with a vacant expression. The second source that there are no current "I told you so" feelings coming from those close to her, adding that they wanted to be wrong about the necessity of the conservatorship. So yeah, they would say at the end of the day they want her to take control of her life and be functional, productive, and happy, and that's what they always wanted for her. But that's not what's happening. That she is loved by her family, she is loved by her true friends, but um she's not the Britney that they knew, that they loved, that there was a light behind her. Now it's just a blank canvas. Like she seems dead behind the eyes. She always got that horrible raccoon makeup, them nappy-headed ass hair extensions. She's always twirling in them Gerber baby panties and them ugly ass brown shoes, or she's barefoot, and y'all eat it up. And we could sit up in here and be critical, but I mean, if you're gonna be critical, it's like it's a genuine concern, and I am genuinely concerned for her. So I feel for her, I feel for the family, I feel for her friends who genuinely care about her, and the lovers that have come in and out of her life that who truly loves her. And I do believe, and some people have kind of pushed back on this, and that's fine. We value differences of opinion on this show, but I do definitely feel like Sam genuinely cared about her. But some people, well, he asked for alimony, but I'm like, okay, they were fucking married. Like if the shoe was on the other foot and it was a male star that was in this situation and the female was Samantha Asghari, yeah, I don't think that same energy would be there. So it's okay for women to get it, but not men. I mean, if you're gonna be in a relationship with somebody who has a higher income, shit, pay me for my pain is what I say. I don't give a good goddamn if she your fave or not. So yeah, so I'll say this. Good luck to you, Brittany. Be blessed. I hope you get it together. I doubt it, but I really hope she gets it together. Everybody's like, oh, she harmless, living her life or whatever. But it's like, okay, y'all, thinking this is normal. But then again, what is normal, right? So I know it's a lot. It's complicated when it comes to talking about Britney, but I just hope that she gets it together. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story and regarding all this regarding Britney and the messy house and the dog poop and all that mess? Child, I can imagine what that house smell like. Probably smell like a whole lot of ass and OP on in carpets and places. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Excuse me. Let me know what you thought on this story in the comments down below. Hold on, I need some water. This might be thinking I'm getting better. Maybe I'll be getting better because I got the next couple of days off and then I'm going right back to work. So maybe me being away from not around a lot of people will definitely help me get rid of this cold. Okay, now we got a lot of comments. So let me see what the people are saying. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I went too far up now. Not oops, he did it again. When is she not being a mess? Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot I did say that. Clock that T. This would not be a cute but well, they're going to sugarcoat all that mess. Most of the huge like what the hell's her name? Paris Jackson said, but then people was getting mad at her over what she was saying in defense of her father and going against the biopic. I'm like, look, she already told y'all. You'll like the biopic, it's for y'all, whatever the case is, but she knows her father and she's not really happy with what they're spilling. Or based off of what she read in the first draft. I'm sure that draft has changed. So most of the huge artists have tried. Okay. And y'all seem to forget. It's like y'all get short term memory when it comes to that. I know Bella is the same. She constantly coming up to me when I wake up in the morning ready to go outside. I just let her out in her yeah, but my thing is my dog shit. So I have to go pick it up. So I was like, yeah, I can let him outside, but I gotta pick all that mess up because I don't want to step in it. Brittany needs to be in a girl school. Okay. She need to get something. Because my thing is I don't understand people who get animals but don't take care of them. That just doesn't make sense. And dogs are very much it's a lot to deal with. It's very high maintenance. They're not like cats where they can go in a litter box and then they cover up they poop. And all you gotta do is get the scooper and get rid of the poop in the thing. And cats are very self-sufficient, which is why I guess they're easier to deal with. But I don't like them. They too damn nosy. And I don't be trusting them. I be thinking they're gonna do me like they did Alice Cridge and her son in that movie Sleepwalkers, the Stephen King movie. So I don't be liking cats all that much. So that's why I'm a person. Not Miss Garrett. You take the good, you take the bad, you roll around the facts of life. The facts of life. He says she ain't but one generation out of the okay. Yeah, that's why people was gagging when she had the baby on her lap when she was driving. I'm like, do that down south. That was like a Tuesday to Brittany. That's what they do down in she country through and through. And the people was gagging. Cause that's not what they do in LA. I'm like, But the New York and LA, the driving, the traffic, it's a different beast. If you could survive driving through Manhattan, oh, you a good one. And that's where I learned how to drive. I went to driver's ed, driving down Midtown Manhattan, cussing out damn cab drivers out the window. My damn driving teacher cracking up. This is back when I was in high school. So I was like, I'm like, I'm literally turning into my grandfather, man. He rest in peace. My grandfather used to cuss everybody out on the road. Brittany needs help / assistance. We love Brittany, but these are the similar details that Brittany Army was noticing in 2019 that led to her freedom from the conservatorship. Okay. I'm sure she has stayed at 1,005. And I'm sure that them people got stories. Not to sex shame, but when you're hooking up with Mario Lopez, she slept with Mario Lopez. Ugh. Don't get me wrong, I used to like AC Slater back in the day, and then we started realizing when he leaned politically and how he couldn't keep his dick in his pants. Then I was like, ew, you just you give me stink. Like you just stink to me. Sam and the Osgaris do seem like good people. I was a friend with his sister for a summer. They're rich enough to afford me. Oh, so he come for money too? Is that what you're trying to say? I need to get liquid vitamin D3 5,000? I need to look into that. Um, my thing is, yeah, I don't be taking um Vitamins. Well, you said 5,000. Why am I thinking Alaska 5,000? Yeah. I looked it up on. Oh wait, I think I have that. I gotta check my vitamins. Yeah, I be having vitamins just sitting there, but I don't take them. Make that make sense. Is it okay? Rotted. Shout out to my West Indians. He is rotted. We like Mark Paul Gosselaar. He was the better one from Saved by the Bell. Quiet as it's kept. And he half Asian. He at least he acknowledged his Asianness, unlike Dean Kane, who's so damn fat and out of shape. He actually had to. I don't know if he quit being the ice because he couldn't do the physical. I was like, were y'all surprised? I need to start. I've never been somebody to take vitamins, but as I get older, I got to stop trying to act like I'm invincible. And I need to start taking vitamins and taking care of myself and drinking more supplements, especially when I go to the gym. Speaking of which, Sailor Mermaid, y'all know they changing Blink. They're not going by Blink no more. I forget what the name is. Blink. Let me see. Pure Gym. That's what they're gonna be calling it. It's rebranding to Pure Gym, with Pure Gym taking over those locations after a bank. Damn, let me find out. I didn't know they went to bankruptcy court. Where have I been? They said individual Blink locations in California, Illinois, and Texas were sold to other companies like JTRE Holdings. Wait a minute, wasn't Blink a part of um what do you call it? Weren't they part of what's the name of that place? Equinox. Yeah, they said that in August of 2024, they filed for Chapter 11 to facilitate the state of the company. And Pure Gym is a European gym chain, so they bought them. So that means that they're probably going to be changing over the weight stuff and all that mess. I forgot to tell you because I was like, they had the signs up in there. So I think they talking about they're going to get new equipment, all kinds of stuff up in there. So yeah, they under new management. And speaking of which, um, remember, I don't know for those of y'all who are familiar with New York City nightlife scene, but remember the old hangar that used to be on in the West Village? Well, yeah, word on the curve is they just recently been bought and it's gonna be turned into a new cocktail spot. So I saw this over there on page 6. They said that Will Macris and Eitan Sugarman, you can't get no more Jewish than that name. They said they're launching a stylish new cocktail lounge in the spot that was home to beloved gay enclave, the Hangar Bar. So Macris is one of the owners of Zero Bond, and Sugarman, who owns the famed White Horse Tavern and is a veteran of Justin Timberlake's Southern Hospitality, and Anthony Scaramucci has a spot. Hunt and Fish have worked together. They've been friends for over 25 years. So they're probably like in their 40s, and they basically own they're opening up a hip spot named Dandelion in the Christopher Street venue, and they said it'll have a food menu. That's so cute. I might actually go in there and want to eat, but I don't like the fact that, I mean, these seem like two straight guys, so I don't like that y'all trying to straightify the West Village, because the West Village used to be a whole strip of queer bars and clubs and things of that nature. I feel like there's not that many. So we have like Stonewall, we have the Monster, we have Ties, and we have Rap Bar. I think those are the only 4 left. It could be off one, but I think that those are the only 4 in the West Village that I can think of off the top of my head. So they said, yeah, they're transforming it into an upscale watering hole for those who'd rather sip a martini than stand in line for a slice at Le Industrie Pizza down the street. I actually like Le Industrie Pizza. They do got some good pizza up in there. There have been many a nights when I would go and I would be drunk coming from the club, and I stop right in that pizza shop. That pizza be definitely it hits the spot. And look, they turned what was it, two potato and wait, I think cheese and two potato might have turned into a little restaurant. They changed a lot over there. Not old Dean King, such a disappointment. Yeah, the gym thing. You said, oh, the Hangar Bar, one of the few bars for black and brown. Okay. Yeah, they closed it now. They turn it into a cute little spot. Whenever you get the chance, can you talk about ghetto gothic? Wait, what's that? Is that a new movie or something? I didn't see the trailer. I mean, there's a trailer for it. Is that a new movie or something? Because I've never heard of what is Ghetto Gothic. And you said they ain't getting my money. I refuse to pay the straight stick. Okay. Um, I think we mentioned it on the show. I finally saw the trailer. I liked it. I'm going to go to the movies and see it. Um, yeah, I got it. You said Ghetto Gothic. I don't think I've ever been there. Um, I may need to check it out. I don't really go to Brooklyn like that. Ever since I left Brooklyn, it's funny. It's like when you go to when you move to Brooklyn, then you do Brooklyn things. When you move to the city, then you do city things. But I need to go and do the Brooklyn spots because whenever I would go to Brooklyn, I would always do $3 bill, which I absolutely love. Um, 'Cause it was always some drag race girls, something doing something there, and a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, I haven't been to $3 bill. I think it was like a couple of months ago I went. Yeah, so I definitely want to see the Good Boy. That's an interesting concept because it's what the a demon or a ghost movie or whatever, something or another told from the perspective of a dog, which on paper it sounds stupid, but the trailer sold me. So I'm definitely gonna see that. A dog given the POV of like like in a harm like in a horror movie, and the dog is the main protagonist. I would definitely want to go see that. New York City got a massage. Okay. Um, do they? I don't. I've never done like the massage parlor thing. I've always been scared to go on one of those because I'm like, I do not want to end up with sepsis. Speaking of sepsis, we got to talk about Billy Porter. That story coming up. I've been teasing Billy Porter all night, right? That's like the second time. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's talk about this A.O. Edebiri story. So I saw this clip yesterday and I was like, I think I saw it on Twitter early in the morning. So I screen recorded it. I posted it online. I was like, this was a mess. So A.O. Edebiri is apparently in a new movie with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield called After the Hunt, which I heard is getting rave reviews. It got standing ovation. There's even talk of Julia Roberts getting an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. That's the word now. And I guess these are the things they got to start talking about because this is around the time we start doing the whole Oscar season, and a lot of the big movies are starting to make the festival rounds between Venice Film Festival and I think Cannes passed like months ago. And then we have TIFF coming up, or the Toronto International Film Festival, all that stuff. So AO did an interview alongside Julia and Andrew Garfield, and some trick with an accent fixed her mouth, and I know she was white. But then I didn't even know, we don't know what she looked like. So I'm like, get her, Jade, get her. So the lady apparently had shades on, and I caught that shade that you threw, Julia. Because you was like, I don't understand what you like, who you looking at directly, because you got the shades on. So okay, apparently she's Italian, so a little racist. Some of them. So she the nerve to fix her mouth with that thick ass accent and say, basically, to expect in Hollywood after the hashtag #MeToo movement and the Black Lives Matter are done, if we lost something with the politically correct era, because I think that's what After the Hunt is about. It kind of takes on this whole Me Too, accountability, Black Lives Matter, that sort of thing. And this woman fixing her mouth to talk about that is over, the Me Too movement. I'm like, over for who? Maybe it is for y'all, because a lot of you mainstream corporate media, like media conglomerates, have to abide by whatever needs to go on. Otherwise, you won't get paid. But if you independent, and I'm talking about real independent media, you know that you have to go and you come out and you spill the tea and you say what needs to be done, and you don't worry about backlash, consequence, whatever the case is, because you have a duty to the audience that you speak to give them the truth, how they need to get it. So I do have that clip because I want y'all to get the full context of what went down. So shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for having this clip. I should have went and found it on Twitter though, but we have it here, and I want y'all to hear this. We'll come back and talk. Please hold.
What we lost during the politically correct era, and what we have to expect in Hollywood after the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matters are done. The two of you, Andrew and Julia.
Well, okay. Can you repeat that? And I with your sunglasses on, I can't tell which of us you're talking to. So
So the question was for Julia and Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the Me Too era and the Black Lives Matters are done, what we have to expect in Hollywood, and what we lost, if we lost something with the politically correct era.
Well,
It's
I
not
didn't.
done.
Sorry, I know
Yeah.
that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I just am curious. I don't think it's done. I agree
It's
with
not
you.
done.
I don't think it's done at all. I think maybe hashtags might not be used as much, but I do think that there's work being done by people every day. That's beautiful, important work. That's not finished. That's really, really, really active for a reason, because this world is really charged.
Yeah.
And that work isn't finished at all. Maybe if there's like not mainstream coverage in the way that there might have been
daily headlines
in the way that it might have been
Mm-hmm.
8 or so years ago. But I don't think that it means that the work is done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would
And
say.
that the movements have been halted anyway.
Yes.
Like the movements are still absolutely alive, as you say, just maybe not as
labeled
labeled or
covered.
covered, or like
Yeah.
witnessed as or kind of magnified as much in this present moment.
And I applaud them for saying that and applauding why is it like not allowing me? I was trying to like minimize it, but apparently it's not letting me do that. But whatever, we'll just leave it there. So and I love the fact that, I love the fact that AO interjected. Quiet as kept, people saying that Julia Roberts was about to get in that ass, because one of the things about so what the people saying, that one person said Andrew turned his entire body. Julia sat all the way up. Lady, these people not about to play with you. Another person said, Julia said, look here, glasses. I love using those references, because whenever you look, you see something on somebody's face and you just call them what it is that stands out to you. Look here, t-shirt, or whatever the case is. Another person said the white tea people being flabbergasted is sending me in the correct response as part of the work and to pass the mic to the correct person. I also love that AO interjected, because Julia was about to go in, and it does feel like AO was like, okay, let me just interject and say whatever. And I'm glad that she took over and they allowed her to, I hate to use the word allow, because it's like, oh, she needed permission from the white folks. But I like the fact that they stood down and let AO say what need to be said without any kind of interruption, whatever the case was. And Julia don't play when it comes to Black folks, because one of the things I had totally forgot about, and I think they were saying like, I think the Roberts family back in the day, didn't her family own like a series of schools or whatever, and they were like and they were good friends with like Martin Luther King and his family and that sort of thing. And they were like Black kids where they were being like not allowed to integrate in other schools, that Black kids actually attended the schools that Julia's parents I believe owned. Yeah, they said that Martin Luther King paid for her parents' hospital bill when they birthed her. Julia doesn't play about civil rights. I was trying to find the thing, but there's so many damn posts in here, if I remember correctly. And to me, I feel like, yeah, that's some diabolical ish. Like, first of all, you purposely left AO out of the conversation. How you gonna ask why? And this is what kills me about it. And y'all sit up here trying to say racism don't exist in the industry or in Hollywood. It does. And even in 2025, this is still how we doing this mess. When you are, oh, I'm gonna ask Julia and Andrew why, because they're the bigger names. You don't know who the fuck AO is. AO is a multiple Emmy award winning actress. She's on a show called The Bear. She's done a bunch of other things as well. But AO is not some girl that just randomly was just thrown in a movie, and this is like her first time at the rodeo. So I'm like, bitch, what you gonna do is you gonna put some respect, as I try to over exaggerate like I'm Billy Porter, on this girl name, and stop playing in my face. And got the nerve, because why? Julia's the bigger name, and Andrew Garfield, somebody who's big in his own right and well known, that you're gonna just give them the ability to say what need to be said. So no, that disrespect. And I'm like, I'm glad that she was classy based about it, because I'd have ate her ass up. And I would not be surprised if once them cameras stopped rolling, Julia went in and let have on that lady with what all the things that she was saying. Oh yeah, they said, don't play with Julia about women or civil rights. She will read you to filth. Her boots have been on the ground since she hit the ground. Um, so yeah, I love the fact that, a lot of people in the comments was very team Julia on this. Andrew Garfield been like, what the fuck is going on? I'm gonna turn my whole body over in this direction. Like, and that's a sign that he was closed off by her going there with that question. So I think this might be it. So there was like, I love me some Julia Roberts and she loves us. Julia Roberts and Martin Luther King Jr.'s family share a close friendship originating when Roberts' parents, who ran an integrated theater school that's what it was, a theater school in Atlanta, welcomed Coretta Scott King's children. This friendship led to the Kings paying Roberts' hospital bill when she was born in 1967, a fact later shared by Roberts and confirmed by Bernice King. The connection highlights an unlikely bond between the families during a time of racial segregation in the South. So that was one of the things, and it's like, you know what? We may be going in on this reporter, but I will say this. It was probably a good thing that this happened because you did it to the right person instead of it being a panel of like, if Sydney Sweeney was starring in it. Like, she wasn't going to give AO that same damn grace, especially the way she allegedly votes and how her family is very much on the side of Trump supported and all that mess. So you would have got a whole different outcome if it was someone like Sydney Sweeney versus somebody who's well seasoned in this game and got a little, dirt under the nails and boots on the ground, as y'all say, like Julia Roberts. So shout out to you, AO. Shout out to Julia. Shout out to you, Andrew. I definitely want to check out this movie After the Hunt when it comes out. I don't know, is it going to be on like Netflix or something? I don't know if it's going into um the theater. Oh wait, so they also said following the interview, the journalist, they said her name, Chad. So her name is apparently Federica Polidoro. Get her, go get her online. No, I'm just playing. Not really. Made a statement on her Instagram that seemed to only make matters worse. Okay, okay, then get her, Jade. Go after her, eat her ass up. Because the bitch don't get it, clearly. Polidoro claimed that she was subjected to personal insults and attacks for the question she asked, saying she was being unjustly accused of racism. Well, bitch, if it walked like a duck and it talked like a duck and it act like a duck and it smelled like a duck and it wipe it ass like a duck, then it's clearly Federica Polidoro. So what the fuck you talking about, dummy? It is, that is what it was. When you go and ask a question, it may not be a full-on racism, because here's what I think that a lot of you clear folks, and this is what I'm talking about, the racists. I'm not talking about regular white people. Regular white people who are very much allies to black folks, y'all can stand down with this situation. I'm addressing all them racist ass clear folks. A lot of y'all think that by the biggest extreme to be considered racist, you got to drop the N-word. Okay, nobody said you had to be Paula Deen. Nobody said you had to come out and say full on nigga, 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 nigga. Nobody said you had to say all of that. But there's a such thing as called microaggressions. And what you did in that interview was a microaggression, especially when you're talking about Black Lives Matter and Me Too, which, sidebar, quiet as it's kept, I should probably say, Me Too was started by a Black woman. Hello? So, when you go and you say certain things, there's certain things called microaggressions. There's not only one way to be racist. There's not only one way to give an unconscious bias towards Black people. It's not just saying the N-word. So I don't understand. So I just feel like a lot of you dumb clear folks, the ones that just walk around with rose-colored glasses on all day and blinders, I just feel like a lot of y'all just don't get it. So she went on to say, to date, I'm not aware of any protocol that dictates the order in which questions must be asked in an interview. It's not about the order of the questions, you dummy. It's literally about how you presented the question. And when you asked the question, you only were like, well, it's specifically to Andrew and Julia. So when you ask a question about Black Lives Matter, how do you exclude the Black girl that's on the stage and only want to address it to the white people? How does that not compute? Censoring or oh fuck, I can't even talk. Delegitimizing what? Questions. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. Considered uncomfortable does not fall within the practice of democracy. Okay, bitch. Like, what the fuck you know about democracy? Before adding that she interviews people of every background, we don't give a fuck that if you interview every person of every background, ethnicity, would you want a goddamn cookie? And she said, and that the real racists are those who see racism everywhere. Okay. Go eat her ass up in the comments and let me know what y'all said. So I say all this to say, what do you think of this story? And what do you think of dumbass reporters who just say stuff but just don't understand people in life? You should not be allowed to interview anybody, not even, the shit under my damn shoe. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, now y'all making me, that's this bitch getting me mad. Like, you can't be that damn dense. Okay. Billy in that show sounds good. Disney wanted Shonda to pay for her family at Disney when she was producing their top show. Disney wanted Shonda to pay for her family. I love how AO answered the question when the interviewer, interviewer, I believe is what you meant. Excuse me from it. The interviewer can go full in a ditch with that literary incorrect shtick accent that they could barely understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bitch. What you're not gonna do is play in my damn face. Not in this interview. I love Julia's quick response. You know she was challenging that heifer to show herself, show her eyes if she gonna be a dismissive piece of shit. Exactly. You knew that question was coming, which is why you decided to wear shades indoors. And I'm glad that's why Julia said what she said. Even more despicable is the fact that the interviewer is a female herself. Oh, they be the worst ones. Let me tell you, y'all be thinking, oh, well, you're supposed to be more empathetic because you're a woman. Oh, please. Women reporters are just as bad as the men, if not worse. So I don't agree with that. Just because you get a pussy, you get a pass. I don't think so. I was like, wow, I thought it was started by Rose McGowan. No, Rose McGowan probably helped put it on the map and so, but no. Black Lives Matter was started by a black woman. Exactly. Tarana Burke. They said she wanted her family comp. They said only Sean. Oh. Mm-mm. Disney cheap ass. Now, speaking of despicable racist people trying to make a comeback, let's talk about Paula Deen. So apparently Paula Deen got a new documentary or something or another coming out. This review comes courtesy of Deadline. So she's been out doing interviews and basically said, and rightfully so at the time, that her just letting that N-word roll off the tongue like she's spreading butter on bread, or I should say butter on toast. Now she's opening up about it. So Bobby Deen, son of disgraced TV chef Paula Deen, has reservations as he sits down with Billy Corbett, director of the new documentary Canceled, the Paula Deen story. Why does that title sound like something out of the Lifetime channel? Saying, quote, I don't think it's a great idea. Honestly, why do you need a documentary? This is what Bobby asked with a rueful chuckle, admitting that the only reason he's there is because his mother and brother Jamie are doing interviews. Well, because apparently she's probably canceled by the general public, except for the racists down in the South. Oh, they'll still eat, whatever she makes or whatever the case. I don't know what she's been doing because I ain't been keeping track of Paula Deen. But since the whole N-word situation and the stuff that was going on with her businesses behind the scenes and the lawsuits that was happening from people that worked under her and all that other stuff, the mainstream don't F with her. But I'm sure she's still got stuff going on and you'll do well in the antebellum South. But anywhere else, ain't nobody checking for Nana. Now, I haven't seen a 103-minute final film. THR, that'll be the Hollywood Reporter, they said that Bobby Needham had worried. It's nearly impossible to imagine a more sympathetic film about Paula Deen, or at least a film more sympathetic to her myriad excuses in the face of the scandals that got her, as the film's title indicates, canceled. My own reaction going into Cancel the Paula Deen story was more in line with the second part of Bobby's quote, saying, why do you need a documentary? But I was prepared to approach it with an open mind because Corbin has done good work. He did Cocaine Cowboys, the You, God Forbid, on the occasionally complementary intersection of lawlessness and capitalism. Was it Cocaine Cowboys? Wasn't it had to do with Griselda? So there's unfortunately the documentary falls short of a thoughtful critique of cancellation is because I don't think you can cancel someone. It's about holding someone accountable for the things that they have done in their life. That is literally what that is. I hate when people have used this word canceled. I feel like it's overused, kind of like woke. That word has been used and abused and ransacked and changed, and it doesn't even hold the same meaning of what it once was back in the day. And so when you use cancels, I don't think you can cancel someone. I feel like what you could do is when people do things and say things that are inappropriate or you're discriminating against a certain group of people, you should be held accountable for your actions. And if you're not just going to come in and be like, oh, this is the way I was raised, but as I'm getting older, I'm learning times are changing, and that's what I think a lot of this is too. A lot of people haven't accepted the fact that some of the things that we said growing up, some of the things we was able to get away with, and I'm learning that I've learned it, that what existed back in 2000s, the 90s, and all of that stuff, what you said then and you could get away with, you can't get away with that now. The times have changed, people have evolved, you can't say certain words, you can't use certain things against certain people because now that we have social media, you have to take into account people's feelings and how you approach them in some in certain amount of ways. And I feel like a lot of people just don't want to evolve. And if you're not willing to evolve with the times, I'm not saying that you need to watch every little damn thing you say, but if you're going to say something inappropriate, keep it to yourself. Or kitchen table talk. Say it within amongst the people that you the most comfortable with. So Deen, her son's mentor, Gordon Elliott, fill in some biographical basics, namely the early death of her parents and the marriage at 18 to a man prone to negligence and a dismissive attitude, which kept Paula from pursuing a career and presumably contributed to the depression and agoraphobia that she beat when she launched a catering business and then a restaurant and then a TV empire. As rags to riches stories goes, it isn't bad, nor is it told with any notable flair. Were it not for the end of the story, you probably wouldn't care about the beginning. So chances are good 12 years after the beginning of the end, you probably don't remember the specifics of Dean's downfall, other than that it involved the N-word and that it must have been bad. The truth is trickier than that. Now, Deen was a part of a discrimination lawsuit brought by a former employee and mostly directed at Dean's brother, who had been set up with a successful restaurant of his own. In a deposition for that case, Deen was asked if she had used the N word before, and she said, yes, of course. She gave some evasive context, but it wasn't like she used the N word in the deposition or was caught using it. But I guess what happened was she just was guilty by association because, like we were saying, the lawsuit was against her brother, who I guess was being a flat out racist at work or whatever the case was. A discrimination lawsuit was filed against him. Paula Deen got hit with a stray. She's on the oath, so she can't lie. Unlike some people, the president of the United States, who lies like he as much as he breathes. Um, but in that case, because that got out, now it's like, oh, Paula Deen's a racist. Oh, she needs to be canceled. And I'm not saying that she don't deserve to be held accountable for her stuff, but I get it. It's different down in the South and her age and her upbringing and all that other stuff. But yeah, once you cross over and you're in that mainstream world, this stuff, the shit that flew. I don't know why I'm keeping myself cussing. The ish that flew when you was younger, that stuff don't apply today. Or 12 years ago when she was canceled. So now, reading the deposition now, Dean comes across as naive, ignorant, and part of a certain generation of Southern upbringing, which I literally just said. But her scandal was adjacent to far more graphic scandals, including, he did, Dwayne Dog Chapman and that other asshole, Mel Gibson, which I just don't understand how the hell we getting a sequel to Passion of the Christ. Jesus died, and y'all still waiting for his ass to be resurrected. What you gonna make? And it's going to be 2 parts. Like, make it make sense. But apparently Hollywood's giving them the money for it to make a whole story, which don't even get me started about Grimm's fairy tales called the Bible. Now, let me get back into this. Who were actually recorded using there's about Dwayne Dog Chapman and Mel Gibson. They were actually recorded using the N-word in grotesque situations, with neither facing an exile that was comparable in any way to what Dean received. And I do feel like that's not fair. So the men got away with it, but you going to chastise the woman. And look, like I said, Hollywood still giving Mel Gibson chances after he was canceled of sorts. But now you're giving him money to make a sequel to Passion of the Christ. Make it make sense. And don't even get me started on Whoopi Goldberg defending Mel Gibson, among other white people who were caught out here saying some racist-ish. Now, if Corbin had dedicated the rest of the doc to exploring what happened with Deen, while her multiple tear-filled apologies didn't accomplish anything, and why being canceled means different things for different people. There's a good documentary in that. So it would have been that's what they basically saying, like, yeah, you give them these interviews, but you should have really gone in and really explored what it means to be canceled and what does cancel mean. Like, you should have did like a man on the street type situation. Like, go out there and ask somebody or hire somebody who knows how to ask questions if you don't want to get on camera, and just be like, hold up a mic to the person, what does cancel mean to you? And kind of get that different perspective. And then bring up the whole Paula Deen thing and see what the people are saying. Read the tea leaves in some sort of way. So that probably would have been a great thing. So I'm like trying to wonder, what is this documentary supposed to be about? It's supposed to be like, this is Paula Deen trying to crawl her way back into the spotlight because of kind of like the way our our society is now, like the way that the industry is now, where it's like back in the day we canceled people, and because of the current administration, like all is forgiven, so all the problematic people are getting second and third chances, like Mel Gibson, like Hulk Hogan at one point before he died, and so many others. Where it's like people who were kind of put out the pasture and out the obscurity, now we're giving them chances again. So I'm wondering, who is this benefiting? So while it's cute or whatever that she's doing this documentary, I don't know if it's going to help any matters. So yeah, they said at this point it's hard for me to tell if Corbin fails or Deen fails, because cancel the Paula Deen story isn't about accountability at all. It's about excuses. She didn't say the N-word. She said she had said the N-word in the context of a situation in which she'd been held at gunpoint by a black bank robber. Oh, so what, you got PTSD? So that's why you were saying that word? Every time the documentary suggests she did anything wrong, it moves the goalposts as if there's a codified rule that honesty under oath absolves people of one traumatic N-word usage, but only Southern women of a certain age and era. So it don't look like I'm going to be watching this documentary now that I'm getting a whole deep dive, courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter, where it's like, yeah, if you were someone who took accountability for the things you said, and you're showing like you're remorseful and you learned your lesson, and if the documentarian was going to fix it up in a way where it's like you make her come across as empathetic, and he failed to do that in his documentary, instead of making her look worse, then I'm not investing my time in this bullshit. So you can take this and wipe your ass with it for all I care. And they also even talked about this, how she went in on Anthony Bourdain, may he rest in peace, called him a self-hating bully. The woman who brought the discrimination suit is undermined for being white, and a second woman who is black and who accused Deen of being racist is undermined for an alleged financial motivation. No, it's about discrimination, which is why we have things like DEI and all this other stuff, so we can prevent discrimination. But to me, it looks like you white folks, especially those in the White House who get these jobs, are benefiting more from DEI than actual people of color. And when I call it DEI for y'all, it's didn't earn it. So that's what that DEI is, not the other actual meaning. So yeah, to me, I'm not going to be watching this, because now that the Hollywood Reporter is breaking it down, that it's not this is not a road to redemption. It seems like on her part that, you know, what is the punishment she should have faced at the end of the day? It's like, if you weren't held, if you're not going to hold, take accountability for what you've done, then I do believe that people stop effing with you. So I don't know what's going on with her. Maybe she still has her restaurants and her businesses, and they're probably thriving well down south. And good for you, Miss Mamas. But as far as like trying to make it back in the industry, and you getting on the Food Network, or what's the other one, the Cooking Channel, and all the other stuff, I think them days is done. So, Miss Mamas, you could take you and your butter and your toast and put that where? Back there, where your career is still waiting, or is. So I say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to this stuff going on about this Paula Deen documentary? Even with all that, look, y'all can watch it and let me know how it is. But yeah, I won't be engaged, because I feel like if there's nothing there, if there's no accountability and understanding of what you said, and what that means when it comes to discriminating against a marginalized group, and you trying to pass oh, well, she's just an old Southern belle or whatever. Like, that's how we speak down south. Well, that's not how you should be speaking, because you come up north doing that, you ain't gonna have no teeth. Them lips gonna be beating you to the hospital. Trust and believe. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now, let's see what the people are saying in the comments. Prayers for Britney, the Rosie Show. Shout out to you. Something needs to be done. Exactly. Forget. That's what I'm saying. If y'all gonna sit out here and throw shit, first of all, how y'all gonna dog Chrisette Michelle and cancel her, but y'all still out here kikiing and giggling over some goddamn Snoop Dogg and Nelly? Make that make sense. Exactly. We won't be watching, nor we giving grace to racists. Okay. And he's like, nope. Well, I was hoping Felix was gonna watch it. He said, no, I ain't watching it. I think somebody tell me how it was, but if we already got the tea from the Hollywood Reporter, then I guess I'll take their word for it. I'm like, if you're not gonna take accountability for your past, your upbringing, things you've done, it just seemed like you were just trying to throw every excuse under the sun on everybody else. And I heard she had a recent disastrous interview. I think it was with Matt Lauer or someone another. Speaking of which, I saw Matt Lauer recently did an interview with um Charlie Sheen, and it irritated me. I wish I could play it for y'all, but NBC and they like to flag my stuff. Just like the other day when I played that I knew I was gonna get flagged for that Cardi B clip because of the music. So I had to cut a piece of it out. But I post it everywhere else. It's on the TikTok and all the other things that I have. They're not as harsh over there. They get you on YouTube and things of that nature. Agreed. She definitely needs one. And Magical Mermaid, hey, everyone in the chat. All right, y'all. So now we got about 4 more topics left until we're done with the end of the show. And so before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Of course, I'll be putting the timestamps in at the end of the show for those who just come in and want to go to whichever topic tickles your fancy. The timestamps will be in there for you to go over that instead of sitting through all the banter that we do in between each topic from, the fandom and all that stuff coming in. So without further ado, where are we going? Oh, speaking of Charlie Sheen, let's talk about him. So Charlie Sheen, speaking of documentaries too, has a new documentary and a memoir coming out called The Book of Sheen. Or should I say, let's talk about Carlos Estevez, because that's his government name. Yeah, I'm putting everybody's name out here. The only one that actually kept their name was Emilio. Martin changed his name. His name is Ramon. Ramon Estevez. Or as some people say, Ramon. So Chicharron, Ramon. But anyway, so he has a book coming out called The Book of Sheen. And in addition to The Book of Sheen, he also has a documentary coming to Netflix on the 10th. So that's in 2 days. Called AKA Charlie Sheen. And in the book and the documentary, he opens up about his experiences with men of the homosexual kind. So he said, I flipped the menu over. This is what he said in the Netflix doc in the book of trying something new after years of having relations with women. He said he's no longer hiding from his past, but owning it, saying, I'm not going to run from my past or let it own me. In the doc, when the interviewer asked Sheen how it feels to be talking publicly for the first time about having relations with those of the same gender, he said, liberating, it's effing liberating to just talk about stuff. It's like a train didn't come through this side of the restaurant. A effing piano didn't fall out of the sky. No one ran into the room and pow-powed me. Now, Sheen, who spoke about the subject today on Good Morning America, says his sexual experiences with men began when he was using crack. Oh, so the crack made you do it? Sir, first of all, quiet as it's kept. You always had them feelings, because word on the curb was, and this is an old rumor that came out. Word on the street was you SA'd Corey Haim. You don't remember that story that came out? When y'all worked on that movie Lucas, you put in his butt. Yes, what? And I think it was was it Crisco? That was the team? That was the rumor? Now I'm saying allegedly. So Charlie Sheen was always out here laying it low and spreading it wide with boys. But we're not gonna sit up in here and talk about crack. Crack did it. Crack made you do it. Because crack is whack. So yeah, he said that's what started it. That's where it was born or sparked. And whatever chunks of time that I was off the pipe trying to navigate that, trying to come to terms with it, where did that come from? Why did that happen? And then just finally being like, so what? So what? Some of it was weird. A lot of it was effing fun. And life goes on. Well, yeah, with sex with men at times, depending on who you hunch, it do come across a little weird. But to me, I always look at Charlie as like sexually adventurous, and also let's not also forget chemsex with men who experiment with sex. This is like you're doing drugs, be it crack, meth, whatever the case is. A lot of people need a sex like a pick me up in order to have sex. Some people can't just have it naturally. Some people need alcohol or harder drugs in order to relax or to be okay with exploring that side of themselves. And if anything, you could be like Jamie Foxx and blame it on the alcohol, or in Charlie's case, blame it on the crack pipe. He was sucking on that. That wasn't the only glass. That wasn't the only glass dick he was sucking. He was sucking an actual one too. So, um, now during his drug fueled exploits, he contracted HIV, and that's also like I totally believe it that it had to come through that because or as I like to call it when I'm trying to be a little more clean about it, the high five. That's what I call HIV sometimes. Um, when your immune system is compromised due to the heavy drugs, the street pharmaceuticals, you do leave yourself open up and vulnerable to have, to catch things, to catch HIV and things of that nature. So when he did the interview with Matt Lauer, Matt did ask him, he said, since your HIV diagnosis, that sort of thing, have you had unprotected sex with? I don't know if he was specific about the gender, but he had sexual relations unprotected with people since his diagnosis. I was like, yeah. And what I was hoping he was going to say, because I feel like this is the conversation that people need to have, because there's still a stigma about HIV and AIDS in the United States. A lot of people are not well educated. We need to start driving forth undetectable equals untransmittable. And I don't hear that enough from people. Yeah, you have people, and this is where I got my education from because I told y'all, or maybe some of you don't know this, but once upon a time, I used eons ago, wasn't my first job, but it was like probably my second or my third. I worked for a company called ACQC, AIDS Center of Queens County. And they don't only just deal with people who are infected or affected with HIV and AIDS. I still hang out, I still know a lot of the people there, still friendly with them. I march with them every year in Queens. I didn't do it this year, but every year I do march with them or go on the float with Queens Pride. My mom is very much active with them as well, doing a lot of the meetings and other stuff. And she's always been much of an activist, which got me into it, being an activist as well, and wanting to spread the word. Back in the day, I used to go to the clubs and give out condoms. That was also and get paid for it. But that was also my way of getting to go and hang out at the bars and clubs at night. So and getting in for free because I was doing outreach. And so I've always been in that whole realm of giving proper education when it comes to talking about things like the stigma of HIV and AIDS, especially when it comes in the LGBTQ community. Because it's not just limited to queer people catching it. Women get it too. And it's not only necessarily from having unprotected sex with men who are having sex with men and not disclosing it. A lot of times it comes from IV intravenous drugs where you're sharing needles or, and other ways. So it's not just a gay man's disease. And I think people still have that in their mind, which kind of irritates me. But it would have been, I guess maybe Charlie was nervous. And when you're doing an interview with someone like Matt Lauer, who always comes across as smug, who always tries to act like I want that gotcha viral moment. How can you have like that real situation going on? Because sitting down with Matt Lauer, who I could have sworn speaking of cancel, I thought we canceled his ass years ago. I guess all is forgiven. Um, he could be a little intense at times. Then he spoke about like why he was deciding to do the interviews and all this other stuff and come out with the book and the documentary. He talked about how like when people would come over to his house, overnight guests would see his medication, take photos of it, and threaten to expose him if he didn't pay them. Which is kind of like I wish he would be not as reckless with his pills and stuff. But I feel like when you a crackhead, when you doing all kinds of stuff, you ain't thinking about, oh, let me hide my HIV medication because somebody gonna snitch on me or people that I disclose my information to. I wish he would have named names. So because if they celebrities that we could cancel their ass. I know we talked about you can't cancel somebody, but we could just act like we don't see it for them no more and refuse to support them. Because if you're ever gonna be that evil and vindictive, I want names if we know who they are. Because for you to do something like that and want to threaten to exploit him, and then Matt Lauer also asked him, is he still paying them? He said, as of now, I'm not. So you was paying him all the way up into this situation. I'm like, oh no, go ahead and tell it. Because I could have sworn we knew about his status. Like it came out years ago that he was HIV positive. And I thought after now that it's out there, these people can't threaten to hold it over your head anymore. So that's still weird that you were still out here supporting these blackmailers to keep them quiet, even though your T was already out here. So okay. Oh yeah, they said that. Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, he came out with his HIV status. They said in 2015 on the Today Show, so that was like 10 years ago. So I'm like, why would you still taking them? Why would you still paying these people? So I said, I do know for a fact that I never passed it on. Now Sheen says with the book and the documentary, he just wanted to tell his full truth and own his stories, and he didn't want to censor anything. So I guess in this whole situation where they saying that he said that I know I didn't pass on, like he got it. He doesn't know how he got it. But it's like, all I know is I didn't pass it on to nobody. And I think that that's good that you know that because like I said, if you're taking your medication and you taking good care of yourself and you doing what needs to be done in order to uh make sure that your T cell count is up to par and you're constantly going to your doctors and um you know what you're doing in regards to that, then I don't think you have anything to worry about. You can't transmit HIV if everything is on point and you're undetectable. So I think a lot of people need to learn that when it comes down to that. Because I remember I had a situation, I do kind of regret it. There was a guy that I had met at the club and we went home. I went back to his place. We was going to hunch. And for some reason, it was like because I had that in my mind about the whole HIV thing that I couldn't get it up and top him. And now that once I got more educated, then it was like, oh no, this bean goes, well, I ain't gonna say it goes to anybody, but but way more open and educated when it comes down to this whole situation. So yeah, so this is the look of the book. Let me take that situation. Oh, well, you can see the book of Sheen, him in the t-shirt and everything. So yeah. Shout out to you, Charlie. And I definitely will be checking out this book. I'm thinking I might want to read it. So I may check it out. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards to what Charlie Sheen had to say? Where he was out here talking about, yeah, I kissed the boy and I liked it and did a little more than that. Um, okay. I mean, this is Hollywood. Who hasn't? I'm sure there's quite a few that haven't, but there's a lot of fluid men running around the industry. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now, I ain't Mermaid Sisters. Weren't Matt and Charlie good friends? They might have been. I mean, I would not be surprised. I mean, who wasn't Matt Lauer friends with? Hollywood Debauchery. hmm I think Charlie's documentary comes out. No, it's Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if him and Matt. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised either. Oh damn, my neck is starting to hurt. I just seen Charlie's younger photos, and yeah, he be playing sort. First of all, Charlie Sheen was fine back in the day. Like I liked him, but he was a cute little thing. As a Tiger Blood says, meow. I don't. It don't matter, men or women. Hunching is inherently weird if you really stop to think about what you're doing. Well, look, it's a natural human thing. Us out here hunching. I'm pretty sure he's undetectable. You equals you. Exactly. Just Googled the rumor. Sheen was 19. See? So I'll be pulling stuff out my ass when I be talking on this show. It's like, yeah, Corey Haim was a young old thing back in the day. I used to love me some Corey Haim. You ain't the only one that got that vibe from me. I used to think John Cryer was a homosexual. I mean, who knows? He might be. You know how a lot of these queens are. They be living these what they call them, lavender lifestyles. Anyway, okay, child, let's get into this mess. Let's talk about Young Thug, who out here saying a whole bunch of damn foolishness. So this one out here talking about he don't trust gay men who don't disclose their sexuality right away to him. So he basically like, "Hi, how are you? I'm Chris. I'm a homosexual." I was like, "Sir, that's not how that works. We don't just go around openly disclosing what we like and who we hunching to somebody that look like you." And I'm gonna get into why I say that in a second. Now, during an appearance on the Perspectives with Bank podcast, the rapper compared turning a suspect into the police to coming out as gay after first claiming to be straight. Okay, child, you doing the most. Now, he said once you rat or once you turn gay, because apparently we just wake up in the morning and decide to just turn homosexual. I don't have nothing against gay people. And then when they start saying that shit, you do. He said there are gay people who work for me. Gays work for Boosie too. What that mean? But when I look at you a certain way, if I meet you and you're gay, it's okay. If I meet you and you're portraying that you're a man and you're not gay, if I look at you like a man and we F and B's together and we doing a certain ish, I look at you in a man light. When I find out you gay, there ain't nothing you can say to me. I don't look at you the same. What does that even mean? Like you looking at, oh, because you're gay, you're less than a man? That's what that's giving with this comment. I am so sick of incel ass people getting on social media and saying the dumbest things under the sun and really thinking like they eating, like they sound intellectual. You sound like a dummy. You a dummy, bitch, in the words of Monique. It's like nobody's gonna come out of the gate. So what you want them coming out doing cat 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 cat. Ow. Like you want gays to come out and do that? So you want a saucy Santana? I was gonna say Rolling Ray, but she just died. I don't want to hit her with the spray. So I was like, what you want? Somebody rolling around, rolling their kiki in your direction. So and win a 40-inch bundle. Is that how you want to is that how you want people coming out the gate? You want Wayman from a low down dirty shame? That's what you want. That's what you want to know. Like if somebody's gay. And I'm so sick of people thinking that just because they see somebody that, oh, now you spooked and nervous because there are guys out here who are masculine presenting and do masculine things and are not all feminine, and you feel like they putting on airs. It's like I don't know you and I don't trust you enough to be wanting to put myself out there to be exposed to myself. I don't know you. But then they said those men he later discovered were gay had broken what he called the man code. This ain't the first time he voices opinions about LGBTQ plus people, and every time he says something, he sounds dumber than when he sounds here. In 2020, he deliberately misgendered Dwayne Wade's trans daughter Zaya. He said, "All I want to say to Dwayne's son is God don't make mistakes." Well, I was gonna say, look, I'm beautiful all in my way because God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way, bitch. So I don't know what the hell you talking about. You talking about that she don't make that God don't make mistakes. Well, God is a woman, so I was correct with the pronoun. God doesn't make mistakes to you, but apparently God has, if that's what you believe, because some people feel like they're in the wrong body. But hey, live your true self. I don't think anybody asked your opinion, sir. A year later, he criticized fellow rapper Lil Nas X for coming out as gay. So here's the thing: which one is it? You want the gays to come out or not? Because how you gonna get mad in 2021 for Lil Nas X to come out as a homosexual, and then 4 years later, you go on this whole tirade that you want the gays to come out so that way you know who is who and who's zooming who. So that way you know if y'all F and B's together. But then he also said something that he don't be hunching girls with dudes. So you be flip-flopping, flip-flopping ass bitch. Like that's what you giving here. So also in 2019, He said that he couldn't possibly be a homosexual because he doesn't have threesomes. This is what I'm telling you about the thing. In an interview with Real 92.3 radio show Big Boy's Neighborhood, the rapper said, people judge me and people say gay, but N-word at one point, I probably had more hoes than anyone else. It's serious. So yeah, so manhood and heterosexuality is equated with how many times you stick your dick in some puss. Okay, got it. So you having a high body count makes you straight? The dumb shit that comes out of these ninjas' mouth, y'all be sending me. He also told LA radio station, I'm the straightest man in the world. I hate guys. F are you talking about? I'm not even having a threesome with no N-word. So he just be all over the place, contradictory. I feel like it's the case of Doth we protest a little too much. I'm side-eyeing you, young thug. You giving Butch Queen tease, trying to act like you straight, and nobody's buying it. So keep being hypocritical and flip-flopping on the stuff you're saying, because the more you talk, the more dumber you come across as sounding. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, trying to decipher the foolishness that's coming out of Young Thug's mouth, crooked, dry-ass cotton mouth. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on, because I got a cough. I feel like the voice is like, it's a little horsation situation. All right, y'all. So let's lighten up the mood and let's cleanse our palate of buffoonery. Let's get into some drag race tea. Let's talk about Mama Ru, because apparently, well, I think I brought this up to y'all maybe a month ago. That in addition to a bunch of damn spinoffs, it looks like RuPaul's Drag Race is about to go the route of a what do you call it? It's a scripted movie. So in a world we can only dream of, RuPaul is set to become the president, President Gagwell, in the first ever RuPaul's Drag Race feature film. It will be helmed by Adam Shankman, who is best known for his work as a director of Hairspray and Disney's Disenchanted. Connor Wright and Christina Friel, who co-wrote RuPaul's 2021 Christmas comedy film, The Bitch Who Stole Christmas, will reunite to write the screenplay, which probably means it screams cheesy, low-budget, star booty tease. The feature film set in the RuPaul's Drag Race universe will follow best friends Tess and Dee Dee, two trained stewardesses who trade their regular shifts on the stank rail to work for the dazzling Glamazonian Express. As the Stormganza derails this high-speed train, prompting it to crash in Los Angeles, the two BFFs must quickly kiki the opulent first-class attendants and President Judy Gagwell herself. Saying President Judy Gagwell is the part I was born to play. This is what Ru wrote in a statement. Finally, a role I can sink my... She said, finally, a role I could sink my damn dentures in. Ma'am, you are no good with that foolishness. So now director Shankman added, I've been friends with Ru for 30 years, and in that time, I've watched him and the folks at World of Wonder help change culture writ large with Drag Race. When they asked me to come aboard this hilarious and truly unhinged project in a time so desperate for escapist entertainment and laughter, I couldn't resist. So we already know that. I guess that's what we're gonna get with RuPaul's Drag Race. It's always like, you know what? It's a laugh riot. Never take the show seriously. We're all about trying to take your mind off of the struggles and the craziness of the world. We just want to have fun. So the upcoming film is starring RuPaul and is set in Drag Race universe, is a production of World of Wonder with writers. I already gave y'all the information. Now, World of Wonder co-founders Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbata wrote, drag queens in charge of America's first ever hyperspeed transcontinental non-denominational bullet train. What could possibly go wrong? What the world needs now is a disaster movie so twisted it will blow your mind. We are delighted to welcome Bleecker Street and everyone aboard the most bonkers train in cinematic history. So I guess it'll be a cross between Bullet Train and Sharknado in a way, minus the sharks. But it's gonna have like kind of like that campy cheesiness that goes with it. And look, so I guess at that point it comes out, I believe, in theaters in 2026. We'll see if it does well financially. I'm sure it'll probably just get released in certain areas that like that are more open-minded with this type of stuff, like New York and LA and Chicago and all the other blue state type of spots. I don't know if it'll get a red state release, but we'll see. But and on that part, as a certain queen says, snip, snip, bitch. I guess here we'll say, choo, choo, bitch. So I'm looking forward to, I guess, checking this out. I love all things Drag Race. It's definitely escapist TV. I'll definitely check this out when it comes out in 2026. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you excited to hear like what the plot regarding this upcoming RuPaul's Drag Race scripted series is giving? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So basically, he incites gays on the DL to stay on the DL. In short, okay, that's why I say he's ignorant as hell. You sound dumb as fuck. Go play in traffic. Let it be. I was hoping it wouldn't be a music. I mean, maybe we'll get a musical number, but I'm like, as long as it's not one of those badly scripted thing challenges that we be seeing on Drag Race. And I'm definitely curious to see like which queens on the show are going to be like in the passenger seats or on the in the whole situation. I'm definitely curious of who they're going to bring on, because I'm sure there's going to be a who's who plethora of Drag Race girls who have some good acting chops to them. Like I would love to see Jinx and Bianca and a bunch of others in that. So if it's a musical, hopefully he'll have queens who can sing, or you can stick him in the studio and auto tune that voice. I mean, shit, they do it with RuPaul's vocals. You said, okay, a red state release. I don't know. I don't see it coming. I mean, they need it now more than ever. Because you live in small towns, you got to deal with that discrimination. Unfortunately, you don't get the help and the aid that we get out here. Now, speaking of health and aid, let's get into Billy Porter. So apparently the word came out over the weekend that Billy Porter, who is supposed to be the final MC in Cabaret, has dropped out of the show because he has a case of the sepsis. First, I was like, what the hell is sepsis? But then it was like, okay, so they said Broadway Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club has announced its early closing date, Sunday, September 21st, as star Billy Porter withdraws from the production due to what producers say is a serious case of sepsis. So Porter, who plays the MC, is currently recovering from a serious case of sepsis, according to the production. The production said doctors are confident he will make a full recovery, but that he has been advised to rest. The Broadway production will now end its run at the August Wilson Theater on September 21st, rather than the originally announced date of October 19th. Porter and Marisha Wallace as Sally Bowles started their roles on July 22nd after playing the roles on London's West End. I had no idea that they were going and doing it since July. So he's been out here for almost over a month. 22nd August. Yeah, a month and a half they've been doing it. And later, the news comes as the production has been seeing its grosses slump in the past several weeks, with capacity falling just below 70% in the past several weeks, and grosses hovering around $500,000 for the show, which was a high running cost. Well, yeah, plays in New York are definitely expensive. And also, with a lot of the performers and stuff, I was actually wondering how well it was going to do under Billy Porter. And quiet as it's kept, there was some people I seen in the comments when this story came out. It was like, to be no shade, but I think it was a little shade. Billy Porter leaving the show. I mean, Billy Porter being in the show, he did the show no favors. So that's what some of the people were saying, that they felt like he didn't really add nothing to the show. And I think with all the stuff that's going on with Billy out here looking a hot mess, I'm not saying it here because this is the Cabaret outfit, the MC outfit and what he's wearing, but all the other things that Billy Porter's been doing out in these streets, and how you've been seeing him with the hair extensions and the wigs and the outfits, he's been looking like a hot mess. People, I guess, are kind of like, they find him to be annoying and a little irritating. And I don't think that he's a driving force. I kind of also wonder, like, how were the shows doing when Orville Peck was a part of it? I know, like, when Adam Lambert was there, it was doing relatively well. So maybe they should have kept it for that. But then also, I was thinking, when you're doing a show like Cabaret, you kind of bringing on all these different queer people to be the MC. How would you keep that going? Because depending on who it is, I don't think that certain people will be a big draw. And I think since Kiki Boots, Billy Porter ain't been that big of a draw. and I think it was like post Pose, people kind of got annoyed with him. So they said, it is with heavy heart that we have made the painful decision to end our Broadway run on September 21st. On behalf of all the producers, we're so honored to have been able to bring this version of John Kander, Fred Ebb, and Joe Masteroff's important masterpiece, Cabaret, to New York, and have opened the doors to our own Kit Kat Club for the year and a half we have been here. This is according to Adam Spears, which is one of the producers. Billy was an extraordinary MC, bringing his signature passion and remarkable talent. We wish Billy a speedy recovery, and I look forward to working with him again in the very near future. I personally invite audiences to return to Kit Kat Club one last time to see the incandescent Marisha Wallace as Sally Bowles, alongside a remarkably talented Marty and David, two actors who have been giving soul-stirring performances as MCs since we opened last April. Marty Lauer and David Marino, the production's two alternatives for MC, will share the role for the upcoming final performances. And I was wondering, because I was like, wait a minute, how was the show doing? Like, who's going to do it? The understudies? So apparently that answers the question, because I was going to ask that. But as I read it, yeah, they call them alternates. Well, back in the day, we used to call them understudies, but they're the alternates. So this has been going on since April of last year. Eddie Redmayne started out doing it. Then I believe it went to Adam Lambert. Then I believe it went, well, after Adam Lambert, I think it was Orville Peck, and then it went to Billy Porter. And now it's like, yeah, they're closing. So since Eddie Redmayne left, and I think Adam Lambert came, I think Adam Lambert definitely did the show justice. You know, he has one of those powerhouse vocals. People like him. He definitely knows how to serve when it comes to the Broadway theatrics. But it's like, I think ever since he left, that interest just wasn't there to keep people wanting to go see the show. And also on top of that, Broadway is so goddamn expensive. So when you try to get interested in watching a show, it's hard because these tickets out here ain't cheap. And you know, we're about to go in a recession and a depression if we're not in it already, because of the current administration not creating jobs and creating moments where people can make money. It's the companies that's sucking up all the money while everybody else is trying to rob Peter and pay Paul to keep their head afloat above water, trying to pay bills and take care of their family and feed them and all this other stuff. So shout out to you, Billy. Get well soon. And all that good stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this story? You disappointed that Billy Porter is no longer going to be doing Cabaret, or that they're closing Cabaret early in September rather than in a month later in October? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So ooh, we don't have any comments or anything from the people. So it looks like we're gonna sign off. And yeah, this is the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, notification, all that good stuff. I'll be on tomorrow with a brand new episode. Lord willing, if there's some interesting T-word spilling, I will be here with this mouth and trying to fight this damn sickness that I got as I yap for over 3 damn hours. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for your consistent support. Share the word, spread the word, let people know about this messy show if you can, all that good stuff. Love you all for watching, and until next time, ciao, darlings.